Okay. Okay. Hey, right guy. How you doing? Snacks will be on a little later. All right. Let's see here.
Kevin Love made it back to the
Yeah, he didn't
finals
do
before
much.
Kyrie. It's a nice meme, man.
Yeah. One idea that somebody had that I hadn't really thought of. What if they traded Jalen Brown to the Atlanta Hawks for like John Collins, something like that? If those were the principles of a trade, John Collins.
I started watching some footage of the game. You were right. That
Go.
arena was dead quiet.
Hello. Welcome aboard.
Oh, did you hear what I heard about Kyrie?
No, go ahead.
I said Kevin Love made it back to the finals before Kyrie did.
Yeah, he did. Now he might actually get to play too because they had to bury him against Boston because it's a bad matchup.
Yeah, that actually that was a big part of why I think we kind of had looked a little sloppy there.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin's been big for us this postseason.
Yeah, that was an interesting one because you don't want to go big against this Celtics team, I guess, but like they really could have used good minutes from a guy like a Kevin Love or a Cody Zeller, but that's why they kept having to play Bam even though he was playing like a girl. Like there was just nobody else to play.
I think he was just trying to show support for the LGBT community for Pride Month, knowing that the finals, being that they're actually in June, he didn't want to play like a girl then, so he's getting that out of the way now.
Play. Yeah, this has got to be some of the biggest blue balls in sports history. Like you do all that work, you're favored by 8 points going into Game 7, you win Game 6 on a miracle, and you don't only lose, but you basically no-show. Like you play like shit except for Derek White. Like it's not even really that close of a game.
The two biggest memes I can't wait to see: Bill Simmons' next podcast where he and that other cuck are crying,
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
gonna stay up late tonight to wait for it to drop.
and the next Levitard rant. Give it to me again, again.
Yeah, yeah, Santi and Eric Spoelstra is definitely the best coach from Oregon, right? So this Miami Heat team has two key Oregon representatives. Pretty based. Because I guess Spolstra actually was a good college basketball player in Oregon for, what was it, Portland State or something? Something like that. Hey,
San Antonio is known for their tumbleweeds. Birdman is gonna spend the off season tumbling in weed. That was my favorite line from 11 Turn Around.
I loved Birdman.
Same here. God bless him.
Yeah, it was like the 2013 Heat ordered him off eBay just in time for the playoffs.
Exactly. I still work very hard to fight the allegations. That's why, like, it's the worst thing in the world when you get accused of doing something really fucked up. Because people's mentality, the only thing they'll ever remember is the accusation and not the, not your name being cleared. Because, a lot of people remember, they're like, oh, hey, Birdman, wasn't he involved in some kind of, like, child sex thing or something? But it turns out he was actually part of a group of victims that were being blackmailed by this person who was trying to rip people off and being like, I'm gonna ruin your reputation and make people think that you're downloading a bunch of illegal child pornography. And
Yep.
as a result, you know, your life is gonna be destroyed and you'll go to jail and all that shit. So this person did that to Birdman. They're like, you're a famous NBA player. You know, if you don't pay me $1 million, destroy your reputation. Birdman helped that person get fucking arrested and sent to jail. He didn't do nothing wrong. So it sucks because people still, you know, you bring them up and people are like, hey, Chris Anderson, isn't he that guy? And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. He's also the guy who failed the dunk contest dunk like 10 straight times before finally just doing like a sissy dunk to get it over with. I love that.
I miss the way that they used to do it, where your dunk, you only had the one attempt.
Yeah.
So because of that, people didn't do all these retarded cartoony dunks. They just did things they actually knew they could do.
Yeah. And it also made it more impressive when they got it on the first try when they did something crazy. Like, all the Zach LaVine dunks, I think, were done on the first try. Yeah, Birdman actually got suspended from the NBA for 2 years because of drugs. It was one of the longest suspensions ever. He did actually do that, but he's not a pedophile.
Yeah, see, here we go already. Just finished talking about it. Yeah, Birdman had a serious drug problem, and Joker said he got suspended. We got under control. And that's the thing, is that back when he was on the 2013 Heat, like, him being signed is what catapulted the Heat into their amazing win streak. Because he fixed, like, every problem that the roster had. So once they got him, it was like they plugged the last hole and they were basically perfect.
A guy who could block shots and rim run.
Right, and because Bosch was amazing defending the pick and roll, but because of that, he's away from the basket. So who's near the basket is you've got Joel Anthony, Eddie Curry, um,
Greg
God, we
Oden.
had a ton. Yeah, we had a ton of fucking shit. Um, well, no, Right Guy, and see, that's the problem. Is that once he came back from his whole drug thing, this is the whole reason I was going on and talking about this. Is that people acted like, oh my god, how could the league let Miami do this? This is such an amazing signing. This was like the perfect roster acquisition. How could this happen? Why didn't anyone else pick him up? Well, they forget. People took the drug shit that Chris Anderson had been involved with very seriously. He was having a hell of a hard time finding a team that was willing to take him on and like actually play him. Because of that, Pat Riley fucking believed in him, man. And there's a great picture From the 2013 Heat Championship celebration, right after they win Game 7, you know, when everyone's got the hats on and the confetti's coming down, all that shit. It was my favorite picture from that year. Where Chris Anderson, he's got the championship hat on, and it's his turn to hold the trophy and all this. And Pat Riley walked up to him, and he took Birdman's face in his hands. And Birdman was crying, and he said, "Pat, we did it. You believed in me." Pat said, "We all believed in you, man." No, they gave him a chance, and it's the same kind of culture that you see that's been going on with the team for years and years and years and years. Because it's Pat Riley and who he is as a person. Believing in people and giving them a chance is why he managed to take Eric Spoelstra out of the video room and turn him into one of the greatest coaches of all time. Believing in people like that is how we just made the finals as the 8th seed with a whole shitload of people who weren't believed in their whole careers. Bunch of
Yeah.
undrafted players, people taken in the second round or late first.
Also, I think they had the 4th most missed games due to injury this year of any team. That's what they were saying on the broadcast tonight.
Yeah, you had that shit going, and that's what I kept trying to tell people. I'm all like, you know, there's a reason we're the first 8th seed since the 99 Knicks to make the finals. Is because the 99 Knicks had a ton of injury issues, including famously Patrick Ewing. But as soon as a lot of their guys started getting healthy again, even though Ewing didn't, the team was still amazing enough that they made the finals. And it's the same here. Like, I was telling people before the playoffs started, Miami is much better than their record. They're the team that every other team in the Eastern Conference should most dread playing. I said that, and Bucks and Celtics fans laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now. And now, like, literally, the only thing Spo needs to do is put Udonis Haslem on the court for one play. He could be on there for the time period of 1 second. All he needs to do is get that burn. And just like that, he is the 4th oldest player. Really the 3rd, but record-wise, the 4th oldest player in the history of the NBA.
Yeah. I think my guess would be he feels he doesn't want to do it until, like, it's the very end. Because,
More than likely.
like,
So game 4.
In game 3 against the Celtics when they were up by 25 with, like, 2 minutes left, I thought that he should put him in, and he didn't. And I thought about it, and I was like, maybe it's because he feels like it's disrespectful, and the Celtics might see that and get enraged that they're putting in their victory cigar at the end of Game 3. So he was like, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do it in a closeout game. But he didn't do it tonight either, so I don't know. Maybe he genuinely just can't play anymore. Like,
It's not that he can't play, because he could easily stand out there. Like, do you remember what T-Mac did in his final game in the NBA?
Wasn't that in the finals with the Spurs?
Exactly. In 2013 in the finals with the Spurs. That was his last game in the NBA. And he basically just stood there. Every now and again he got to touch the ball. I think he chucked a shot or two, but he basically just stood there. Now, I understand what you're saying, which is UD's an amazing competitor. To be honest, it's probably more along the lines of he feels like it's disrespectful to who he is as a person to put him out there because he'd want to try and he'd just embarrass himself.
Let me check something here real quick.
I mean,
Tracy
fuck, dude, just like,
McGrady stats.
got nothing to lose.
Yep.
Okay, so what the hell am I doing here? Oh, right, I was looking for a diamond.
Okay, he played 8 minutes in game 2 against Miami, and then he played 7 minutes in game 3 against Miami. Took 3 shots, missed all 3 of them. Did get 5 assists and 1 block. Wow, he got a block in the NBA Finals. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, remember, after game 1, the Heat and Spurs were just trading blowouts back and forth. So T-Mac was playing against like the filthiest part of the Heat bench.
Didn't T-Mac say something when they were up 5 or 30 seconds left? Like, it's nice to finally
Yes.
get a ring, or it was something like that.
I can't remember which playoff series it was. He could have been on the Magic, he could have been on the Rockets, but remember, T-Mac famously never left the first round.
Right, right.
His team was up and was about to win, and he said it's gonna feel good to get out of the first round. And then they had a historic collapse, and then they ended up gagging up that fucking lead, multiple games, and then he still lost. He almost learned his lesson because he waited until the Spurs were up 5 with 20 seconds left in Game 6. And he fucking said it. He said it's gonna feel good to finally win a ring. Oh boy. You know what's really funny though? Obviously everyone remembers Ray Allen's shot because that was the one that like really mattered and everything. And was amazing and one of the greatest moments in the history of the NBA and all that shit. But considering all the LeBron dick riding that's been going on lately, like ever since he stopped being the quote unquote villain after he left Miami, you know, he got the fucking hero's welcome going back to Cleveland. He won a ring there. Then going to LA, you know, everyone's just like, okay, fine, whatever. And passing Kareem this season, everyone treating him like people actually talking about him like he's the GOAT. They're like, yeah, move over Jordan, it's LeBron now. And all this kind of shit. I'm like, in spite of all of that, no one talks about the fact that when the Spurs were up 5 with 20 seconds left, the first three that was hit was from LeBron.
He took three threes in the last few seconds and only made one, so that's not a great ratio.
Well, he did make the shot that mattered. He made the first one, cut the lead down to 2. But you're right. This is the one I remember. Rebound Bosch, back out to Allen, his three-pointer, bang. Words Mike Breen said right before that was, James for 3, won't go. And LeBron had the audacity when Bosch grabbed the rebound. Bosch's back was to LeBron. Literally, he was only looking at Ray Allen. From the moment he caught the ball, he's only looking at Ray Allen.
Yeah.
And Ray didn't even need to fucking look down. He knew by instinct. He's like, oh yeah, this is good. But LeBron actually called for the ball to try to get it again. So like, no, you had your chance, fucker.
Yeah, that reminds me of Kobe's game winner in the playoffs against the Suns.
Yes.
If you look in the background as Kobe's about to go for the shot, Luke Walton is calling for the ball. And I'm like, yeah, Kobe's totally gonna pass the ball to Luke Walton. It was pretty funny.
I mean, when you think about it, to be fair, Michael Jordan passed the ball to Steve Kerr.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, I mean, when you want to win, you want to win. But that's the difference between Kobe and Jordan, is that Jordan wanted to win. Kobe wanted to be the winner. Because, I mean, when you think about it, if all Kobe wanted was to win, he would have just appeased Shaq.
Yeah, and I do feel like, and we'll never know, but if the Lakers front office had done, intelligent things with Kobe and Shaq, and they had managed to stay together for their whole careers, like it could have been like 7 or 8 rings pretty easily, I think.
I think Missoula will never coach professionally again. He'll probably be working as an ice cream man in a couple of months.
Yeah, he was. They were. I watched a little bit of his post game press conference, and he just acts so prickly. Like one of the reporters asked him, "Do you guys think your team relies too much on 3-point shots?" And he's just like, "No." Like fuck you for even asking, almost. Like the whole
I,
post game with Chuck and Shaq, they were saying like, Boston, I guess they missed their first 12 3-pointers of the game. And Shaq
ooh,
and Chuck were talking
wow.
about how, like, hey, when that's happening, you got to stop shooting threes and just start getting easy shots for a little bit. And Shaq said,
Exactly.
like, if my team ever started 0 for 10 from 3, I would go to the sideline and be like, okay, the next person to shoot a three, I'm punching you in the face. We're getting shots at the rim until they start going in.
Pretty much, because I mean, like, that's literally basketball. You want to take a high percentage shot. You have a good shooter taking a three. I trust Steph Curry to make the three, but even he'll miss him. If he's having an off shooting night, I'm gonna fucking hand it to Clay and say, Clay, I need you to drive to the rim on this one.
Yeah. Or, get the ball inside. Well, okay, Boston doesn't really have any low post scores, but, you can drive to the basket. That's what Derek White was doing. He was the
It's
only
kind of
guy.
what it's kind of what Al Horford's there for.
Mm-hmm.
He's not exactly an elite low post scorer, but he's a very talented big man, and with Bam playing like shit, that's the matchup I'd want to have. You know? Also, you were talking about Love not being in there because of matchups. Again, Horford.
Yeah.
That's what Horford's there for. But I mean, it's difficult in this day and age to sit there and say, your team's too reliant on threes, because the offense of every team has gotten too reliant on threes. It works and they go in. The reason that analytics says take threes, it's not just that the three is worth more points. It's that when you're taking a shot far away from the basket, it's a much lower chance that it's going to go in. So it's better to have the three-point shot than the deep mid-range shot. That's why the three-point has started to become so prevalent across the entire league, is because deep twos used to be prevalent across the entire league. Stretch bigs have always been around pretty much, like for decades. You used to have centers and power forwards who could hit a mid-range shot, but it was from 15 feet away. Now they're backing up a little further to take that three-point shot, because the percentages in terms of how likely it is that'll go in, it doesn't drop by that much. So getting an extra point out of it is really valuable. However,
Think about.
when you look at someone who's considered an excellent scorer and an amazingly efficient person, you're looking at someone like James Harden, who basically only scored in the paint or from three.
Right.
When his three-point shot wasn't falling, he drove to the rack and got a whistle. Occasionally, he even made a layup. But, like, I was watching a Derrick Rose video earlier today. It was called Back When Derrick Rose Was Unguardable. And I had fucking tears in my eyes because I legitimately missed that son of a bitch. I mean, I know he's in the NBA now, and I know he's still playing, and I know he's even doing good, but, like, he'll never again be that. And he hasn't been for over 10 years.
It always
But
makes me think of the sentence that Timothy Zahn wrote about Darth Vader right after he got put in the suit, about how much of his potential he had lost. Right. He was like a painter gone blind.
But if you have, because I mean, the Celtics are young and they're extremely athletic. So yeah, Tatum got hurt, but Jaylen Brown should have been fucking driving to the rim.
I mean, Butler was hurt probably the whole series, honestly. Like, he
exactly.
Can't jump. The dude
and
can't jump.
It was hilarious because it makes sense there. He's got an excuse there. And what people were saying is that Jimmy Butler is scared of Jason Tatum, which was the funniest fucking shit in the world to me. Like, you said it yourself, man. The guy had no lift. He was on a bum leg the whole series, but he still fucking made the attempt. Yeah, John Wall. Back before John Wall, he got older, he lost his athleticism. John Wall, from like when he got drafted to like right around 2016, holy hell. Russell Westbrook, he's a Hall of Famer. And he played like absolute shit this season, But he became a Hall of Famer because he had otherworldly, once-in-a-generation levels of athleticism, and it didn't matter that his nickname was West Brick. He just fucking drove to the hoop. And I say all that because, like, jump shooting is important. Being able to hit the three is important. But yes, if you start off 0 for 10 from 3, take it to the hole. Holy fuck, someone get a high percentage look. Especially when Miami's interior defense, which is basically just Bam Adebayo, is playing like dog shit and is completely mentally broken.
Because
Go after him.
Miami's zone defense is really good against defending threes. Like they were putting the stats up on screen today. Like when Miami's in their zone defense, Boston is shooting like 30% from the field and like 20% from three, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, you got to find a way to beat a zone defense. This is like high school basketball shit.
Right. It's absolutely insane to me. And I tell you what, man. Wimatanye is going to bust for exactly this reason. He's too thin and gangly. He's going to get killed.
Without knowing that much about him, I will admit, I don't know why he's that much better than a guy like Chet Holmgren, who was a good prospect, but didn't even go number 1 overall in his own draft. And I do wonder, like, okay, what's the difference here? Chet Holmgren is, like, really, really thin. He's tall. He's, like, got no muscle. Like, what's the damn difference?
No, I mean, I'm not even fucking around when I say this. I'm getting huge Thon Maker vibes from this guy. Because everyone's sitting there saying that it's all like, well, international players are really good, which is true. There's lots of talent, especially recently. Nikola Jokic is on his way to becoming the greatest basketball player of all time. I'm going to die on that hill. I love watching it happen. I'm glad I can sit here and witness this while it's going on. I love him. Obviously, we had Dirk a long time ago, but now we've got Luka Doncic, and he's fucking popping off. We got Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's popping off. So, people are looking at European players much more... Nuggets in 4. They're going to kill us.
Yeah, the
People
thing
are
is...
looking at European players much more favorably than they used to. But that alone does not mean that they're going to be good, because for every amazing player that comes out of Europe, we get like 15 busts. And the same level of talent league-wide is just not there the same way that it is even in college. When you look at Wimatanye and the shit that he's doing, it genuinely looks the same like those ancient highlight vids of Thon Maker. And
remember Darko?
Mm-hmm.
Could be... I mean, Darko was actually built well, so the fact that he sucked in the NBA was kind of surprising to me, but that's another great example. Because Darko, people forget this now probably, he went over Carmelo, Wade, and Bosch in the draft. And I think back then, Chad Ford, who was ESPN's like main basketball draft expert, I think he thought that Darko should go over LeBron, if I recall correctly. I could be wrong.
No.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm like, I just don't like really, really thin, very tall players. Because I think there's a ceiling in terms of how tall you can be and still be that thin and actually succeed. And even then, you still need to put muscle in your frame. Like, that's what Anthony Davis had to do, and he was getting hurt really, really often. Like, he fucking still is, and a lot of it has to do with he doesn't have enough musculature on his frame. Even Kevin Durant listened to this shit and fucking put on some pounds, you know?
Like, there's an Instagram account that I follow called That Tall Family, and it's a tall family, and they actually have a son. He's like 17 or 18, I think, and he's 7'1". But this is what he looks like, and it's like I hope he's got the frame to put on a few more pounds if he's actually going to go in the NBA.
Oh. Hmm?
Like, Tim Duncan was really skinny, actually, when you look at him compared to some of the other big men of his age. Like, he was actually... And KG,
Yeah.
too. KG is like... KG looks like Slender Man, almost.
I think that's why KG fucking put on. It was almost like he had an oversized uniform, and I think it was for exactly that reason, is to make himself look bigger.
Hmm.
Part of me really wishes KG had just spent his whole career in Minnesota rotting away on a god-awful franchise. I think he would have actually, like, killed one of his teammates at some point.
Spruill taught him well. No, but fucking after hearing some of the shit that Celtics fans have been saying, especially since after Game 6, I'm sitting here like, you know what, you fuckers didn't even deserve 2008. You know that? But it sucks because what you sit there and say, KG stole a ring with one of the most bullshit fucking super teams ever formed. But how many other legends out there who are way better than KG all the time who retired ringless and didn't have that same opportunity? You know?
Yeah, didn't Reggie Miller get the chance to join that Celtics team and he turned
Yes,
it
he
down?
he was offered a spot after he had spent multiple years already retired. He was offered a spot to come back for the '08 Celtics because they felt like they were the team of destiny. And Reggie said, "No, I'm too old. I don't want to do that. And besides, I owe it to the Pacers not to join another team." And you just can't fucking get that kind of loyalty these days, man.
I mean, that's probably the right thing to do. It would have been a extremely horseshit ring.
Yes.
Like, it would be like, imagine if, like,
The same way
Shaq...
Gary Payton's was. The fact that he won on the '06 Heat does not change his all-time rating at all. He just got a ring. Just like it doesn't matter.
Imagine if Shaq called up the Nuggets right now and was like, hey, can you guys sign me for the next 2 weeks? And he got a ring like that. Just, you don't have to play me. Just let me be on the roster. It's like, that doesn't mean anything, you chud. Chowderhead.
Yeah, Shaq's just a mean name. But,
Yeah, the thing is, like, Boston does so many stupid things that the Nuggets just don't do. The Nuggets always find the way to settle themselves. Like, I think they've been down by double digits twice this entire postseason. And I think they won both of the games they were down by double digits in. So it's like...
if I remember right, both of those games were against the Lakers.
Yeah, so I think they must have won both. And, I mean, that's a pretty... That tells you that it's a great team when they never really get, like, just... It's never not their night. Like, sometimes you just have a game as a team and you're like, yeah, that's not our night. It's really hard for them to have a game that is just not their night because...
Not only that, people made a lot of, what happened with the Suns owner, the Jokic did, gave him a shove and all this. Here's what happened. That was a live ball during the game. The owner grabbed it. And Jokic was like, dude, come on. So, like, yeah, he put hands on him, but it was a fucking live ball. What the hell?
That was hilarious.
What the fuck? So, like, God, we're gonna get killed. But it doesn't matter, because we already made it this far. Who gives a shit? First playing team to make the finals.
Yeah. I mean, you actually went into Boston and blew them out by 20 points in a Game 7. Larry Bird is rolling in his grave. Like...
Thank you for reminding me. The 2001 Lakers almost went undefeated in the playoffs. They didn't because they swept their conference finals opponent, to advance to the finals. But Bucks Sixers went 7 games. So the Sixers came in having played a game a couple of days ago, and the Lakers had 2 weeks off. And Shaq talks about it, and he says, that was 2 weeks where we got inside our own heads. That was 2 weeks where guys were out clubbing instead of practicing. That was 2 weeks where I was busy eating a bunch of junk food instead of like working out and all that kind of shit. So they lost game 1. And then after they did that, they're like, oh, okay, it's out of the way. Let's fucking get this ring. And then they kicked the Sixers' ass the next 4 games, easily won the championship. But the Nuggets haven't played a game in almost 2 weeks.
Hey.
And for the Heat, they're going to play game 1 2 or 3 days, something like that, after their last game that they played. So Jimmy's still going to be janky because he didn't get the chance to rest. But I think Denver's going to be slow to come out because of that same shit that Shaq talks about. I think the Heat will win game 1 and then lose the next 4.
I can see that. I buy it. The interesting thing to me is, will Tyler Harrow play in this series or not?
Yes. The question you should be asking is whether he'll be effective when he comes back. He'll play. And there's 2 reasons he'll play. Number 1, it's the finals. He will force himself back. And number 2, if he hasn't played yet by the time of the closeout game, he'll go out there just to say that he did. I mean, if he's cleared for action, why the fuck wouldn't he?
Yeah. I mean, being in the finals beats the hell out of the first team to ever to blow a 3-0 lead. That's all I know.
Yes, easily. Because now, instead of being the first team to ever blow a 3-0 lead, I can sit here and say, first 8 seed to make the finals since the 1999 Knicks, the first play-in team to win a conference finals and advance to the NBA finals, the first play-in team to beat both the 1 seed and the 2nd seed.
Mm-hmm. And the 99 Knicks, that was the lockout year, so that year was kind of horse crap all around, so it's not the same. Like, this is way better. This is way more credible.
Yeah, I mean, the Heat Knicks series was like bullshit enough as it was, but the thing about the 99 Knicks playoff run is it had one of the most controversial calls by a referee in the history of the NBA. Dick Bavetta, who after this incident forever had the nickname of Nick Bavetta, called a phantom foul on a Larry Johnson 3-point attempt, which he made, and turned it into a 4-point play so that the Knicks could win. There was no contact at all. It was the most bullshit call pretty much in the history of the NBA, or New York Knicks as a franchise. Total horseshit call. So, lockout asterisk. That asterisk. All over the fucking place. Just total crap. 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 Just total
Yeah. There's no way they actually pay Jaylen Brown out to the game he had tonight, so I'm interested to see what they do with him. Because he's going to want his $300 million. Somebody's going to give it to him. Like, Atlanta would probably give it to him. Atlanta would love to make the playoffs every year as a 5 seed and get eliminated in the first round.
As long as the Hawks keep Trae Young, I mean, I know that the meme you're bringing up is that Jaylen Brown, that's his destiny. But as long as the Hawks can keep Trae Young, if they partnered him with Jaylen Brown, because like Jaylen Brown is obviously a number 2. There's much worse things to be in the NBA than a number 2. Because you can be a number 2 and be Klay Thompson. You can be a number 2 and be Kyrie Irving. You can be a number 2 and be Dwayne Wade on the Heat teams. You can be a number 2 and be Tony Parker on the Spurs. You can be a number 2 and you can be Kobe in the first three-peat, or Pau Gasol in the second Lakers run. There's much worse things you could be than a number 2. So if the Celtics aren't gonna respect Brown as their number 2, he could get respect as a number 2 somewhere else, and a Trae Young, Jaylen Brown team, I think, in this Eastern Conference, I think that's pretty consistently a top 4 seed.
Yeah, I mean, again, of course, there's way more than just your top 2, but sure, that's not bad. The problem, I mean, he can't dribble. Like every time he starts dribbling, the possession just gets really, really ugly.
Yes, and I completely agree with you. That's why if he goes to a team as the number 1, and that team is fucked. But if he goes to a team as the number 2, especially because you brought up the Hawks, I think that's the best place you could go to. Have Trae Young be the primary ball handler and just have Brown catch balls, grabbing handoffs off of the screen, or
A catch and
getting
shoot.
a pass, catch and shoot situation. In those instances, I'm like, yeah, you do not want him to dribble. You do not want him to have the ball in his hands. But if the ball's in someone else's hands, like Trae Young instead, that could fucking work.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to send you something kind of funny. Here we go. Well, Austin, it's more than just them being a play-in team. They had a negative point differential in the regular season. Like, there's a lot of things that make this run by Miami pretty spectacular. Like, they're the first team in a very long time to make the finals with a negative point differential. Yes, I'm aware that part of the reason why is because of all the injuries they had, but still, this doesn't happen that often. Bill Simmons has not tweeted in about 10 hours. Alright, before I try to figure out this room, I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes, everybody.
On break.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I wanted to say this to the chat too. The Heat also, I don't know if this has ever happened before. They were favored to lose every single playoff series that they played in, and not just like coin flip wise. I mean, ESPN gave them a 3% chance to win this series.
Yeah.
So they were favored to lose every single series that they fucking played, and now they're in the finals. That was all I wanted to say.
Be right back. Okay, I am back. I understand that the Heat being underdogs versus the Bucks and Celtics, but at no point did I have any doubt that they should be favored to beat the Knicks. Imagine being good enough to beat the Bucks in 5 games, but then losing to the Knicks. Couldn't see it at all. I mean, I kind of agree. And the Heat controlled that
Hey,
whole series.
now, it's easy to say that because lots of people felt the same way. However, the Knicks were a higher seed, and for sports journalists, that's a lot of what people pay attention to. They were a higher seed, and they had home court. After they beat the Bucks, people thought, oh, okay, maybe that was just a bad matchup, or Miami got lucky. But the Knicks won Game 1.
No. It was they won
Sorry?
game 2. The Heat
Oh,
won
sorry.
game 1. Knicks won
Well,
game 2.
once they won Game 2, right, that was the one Jimmy missed, and they
Still
barely
almost won.
won. So while that was the signal to a lot of people, that was a signal to a lot of people that the Knicks were doomed. But sports journalists were saying, okay, they got it done, you know, blah blah blah. Knicks are gonna win, all this kind of shit. But like, I don't know, let me fuck.
Yeah, he sure did, Big Country. And at least you got killed by a good player. Can't really say anything too bad about that overall.
I'm looking at this article right now. This is hilarious. Mike Greenberg tried to say that the only reason the Knicks lost to the Heat was because the Knicks having to play in the warm Miami weather was totally fucking with them.
I mean, even if that's true, that's why they played 4 games in New York and 3 in Miami.
Well, that's the thing is, like, obviously a lot of people said that he was a clown, but again, this is one of the guys who had the ability. He works for ESPN, and he weighed in before the series started and said some shit like, the Knicks will win. This is the kind of shit that I'm talking about.
I mean, is it ever really a shock when a team coached by Tom Thibodeau has nothing left at the end of the season? Like they're just completely drained?
Yeah, you know, as is tradition.
Like, I think in that game 5 or game 6, there were a couple Knicks players that literally played all 48 minutes. Like, that's how he does things, man. He makes sure you have no legs for the end of the season. Yeah, David, I thought about that too. Was not thrilled about that one.
Okay, so yeah, before the series started, literally everyone on ESPN was saying that the Bucks would win. The most forgiving was Bucks in 6. Most said Bucks in 5, which is hilarious. Let's see these second rounders. Okay, so out of... Oh, here we go. So, I'm looking at the ESPN thing right here for the second round. Knicks in 10, or sorry, favoring the Knicks 10, favoring the Heat 7. So obviously more forgiving than Boston, or sorry, than Milwaukee's was. But Knicks in 6, Knicks in 6, Knicks in 5, Knicks in 7, 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 Knicks in 7. And pretty much anybody who picked Miami was just saying Heat in 7. Pick. Those clowns also picked the Lakers to win. There was the count was Nuggets 11, Lakers 6. Now Celtics Heat, it was Celtics 15, Heat 3. So that's some fun shit, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah. It sure is. Man. Caleb Martin is going to be a really good pro. I can't believe how good he was tonight. Like, so many big shots. It was obscene what he was doing out there.
Not just the first 8 seed since the Knicks to make the finals, only the second ever. It's pretty good.
I mean, think about all those years when the 8 seed is like some sacrificial lamb. Like, usually that is how it goes.
That's the point. That's what I fucking told people. I was like, the Heat are much better than their record. This is not your traditional 8 seed. They didn't listen. I just didn't think the Knicks were that good, so I never really had any doubt that he would beat them after handling the Bucks. Again, as a Heat fan and someone with eyes, I felt the same. However, again, the people who, like, this is not me saying that you're wrong, and this is not me saying that these people should be trusted as knowing what the fuck they're talking about. What I'm saying is, the people who are paid to talk about professional sports for a living, who make 6 figures, sometimes even 7, talking about professional sports. All of those talking head morons said that Miami would lose every single series that they played, including the one against the Knicks.
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of
Miami
New York
was...
media bias there, of course.
Oh, plenty. Especially when, like that other guy mentioned, his name was fucking Rosenstein or Greenberg or whatever. Like, you know, I guess it's who he's rooting for. But the point is, you can sit there and say and have it be a genuine fact, the Heat were favored to lose every series that they played.
And
now, I'm not saying that these people are right or that their opinions matter at all or that they should even be considered or anything like this. What I'm saying is, by and large, these are also the same morons who get to vote for awards.
So
I mean,
I could be wrong, but I think the Heat were underdogs in every game in this series against the Celtics. I could be wrong, but I know for a fact they were in 6 of them.
When you define when you say underdogs like that, are you talking about like in
Point
terms
spread.
of sports betting, they were favored to lose?
Yeah, like the point spread.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna check. What was the spread for each Heat Celtics game? Obviously, for this game, the Heat favored to lose. It was Heat plus 7.5 was the spread for this game. Can't find a fucking thing for the entire series. Shit. I'll just gotta fucking do it one by one, I guess. Game 1 was Miami plus 7.5. Plus 9 for game 2. For game 3, it was Heat plus 3.5. Actually favored to win game 4, but it was extremely close. They were only minus 1.5.
Yeah, that was when everyone thought Boston had just like packed it in. Makes sense, I guess.
And game 5, it was Heat plus 8.5.
I think game 6 was plus 2.5.
Yes, and then game 7, like I said just now, I already forgot what the fuck I said.
7.5, yeah.
Yeah. So, except for game 4, you're right, the Heat by point spread were favored to lose every single game of the series. No, the Nuggets are going to win in 5. The Heat will win game 1 because the Nuggets haven't played in 2 weeks. So they're going to be out of practice. Literally, they've already been talking about it. Jokic and Jamal Murray both said in interviews earlier, a couple of days ago, they said they're kind of worried about their conditioning because they haven't played in a while. And they said, now practice is very different from an actual game. And our practices have also been optional. And some guys haven't been showing up.
Yeah, I could see it.
And the Nuggets coach was actually extremely concerned about that kind of thing because he said, for whatever reason, I'm not allowed to make these practices mandatory. I have to say that they're optional. And he said, Jokic and Murray are showing up, obviously, but there's a lot of other guys who are important to the squad who aren't showing up, and I'm kind of concerned about game 1. Now, obviously, all of them have said, I expect us to win this series. I think, I think it's a done deal. We got to go out there and actually play these games. I hope we're going to win and all that shit. But I don't feel good about game 1. So, the Nuggets could still easily win game 1 because they're a better team. But I think that probably as soon as the starters come off the court and the bench comes in and the bench is extremely out of shape, they're going to be fucking gassed. Especially because as they've been fucking around and shit, they've been fucking around outside of Colorado. Now, why is that relevant? Because now you're going to get the altitude memes playing against the fucking guys who play for the squad.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be out of shape. They haven't played in 2 weeks. They've just been drinking and clubbing for the last 2 weeks, and they're going to show up and not be able to breathe. Good meme.
I mean, I do think it'll probably be a pretty decisive win for Denver, but I do think it's a pretty fun series in terms of like just pure basketball.
Yeah. it's just nice being right because I pick the Heat to win, or I pick the Heat to make the finals every year. So I like, I like when I'm right. Oh, thank God! I'm so glad you sent me this picture.
He hasn't
Oh,
tweeted in 10 hours, and at first I didn't know why, and then I realized he was at the game. It is, I mean, you kind of touched on this the other day. The Heat made the finals 2 years ago and were a three-pointer away from making the finals last year, but it's still such a shock that they're here in the finals this year. But when you think about it in the grand scheme, it really shouldn't be.
right. And that's the thing is like, ever since the Heat got Jimmy Butler, like when you think about it, Jimmy Butler and Bam have been the two cornerstones of the squad that has been pretty consistently shifting around them. Like when the last time we made the finals, we had Goran Dragic, was considered by many the leader of this team.
Hmm.
And funnily enough, I think the reason that we lost the finals in 2020 was because Dragic came back because like he got hurt, so he's out. And then we bring in our bench, and our bench was way fucking better. Way fucking better. Just in terms of matchups, like Dragic was a better player, but just for the matchup, our bench was way better than Dragic. So we started winning. So then, seeing that we're winning, Dragic was like, "Holy shit, we could still win this." So he came back early. So not only is he still hurt, but then he fucked the team's chemistry. We just lost.
Yeah, that was a unfortunate.
But you know, yeah, that shit going on. Our roster's super different now than it was before, but you know, thank God we got this consistency from these two. And I say that, but then you know, look what happens when they have a bad fucking game.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you know, even the thing is, Bam is playing like a bitch around the rim, but he is still a
yeah,
really good passer. He is playing some good defense. Like, it's not all bad. It's just not max contract good.
yeah, it's like it's funnily enough, this is what Spo was talking about when all the coaches in the league were being talked about, all the different firings that were taking place. Everyone had different things to say, but Spo was the one who was talking about teams need consistency. A team has to have an identity, which is built by the front office and the coach. And if you fuck with that, then it doesn't matter who you have playing on that roster. The team's not going to have an identity, which means that when you find yourself in a position of adversity, you're not going to have something that you can fall back and rely on. And the Celtics literally said that shit after Game 3, that they forgot their identity as a team and they just felt kind of listless. Now, what worked for them was Jimmy's legs basically gave out. He couldn't get anything done. Bam, I guess, died of a lonely heart or whatever the fuck was going there. And then, even though they spent the last 3 games blowing every wide open shot that they were given, those shots finally started going in.
And
They
they
didn't
started
change the
playing
way that.
better. They did start playing better on defense, I think, though. Like, that's a
Yes and
really
no.
good defensive team. Or
Yes
should
and
be.
no. And I'm not saying yes and no to them being a good defense. I'm saying yes and no to them playing better defense in the games that they won. They were playing the exact same defense they were playing before on Jimmy. It's just that Jimmy himself had changed, and his shots were not going in because he no longer had any lift. They were playing the exact same defense they were playing on Bam before. It's just now Bam was making really stupid decisions.
There was one play where Bam got the ball 2 feet from the rim with only Derek White, who's a point guard, on him. And then he did, like, this really bitch-made post hook that missed, and it's just like, bro, you gotta throw it down, big man.
All right.
It was depressing.
It kind of makes you wonder, what would this Celtics team look like if they had prime Corey Maggette on the squad? Because he's kind of exactly who they need, don't you think?
I read a story once when Corey Maggette was coming out of college and he was like auditioning for front, scouts. Like they, would go to his workouts, his practices, and apparently his agent kept telling him like, "Dude, as often as you can, take your shirt off and walk really close to the scouts so they can see how ripped you are." But I remember thinking like, that sounds really fucked up. It's like, okay, you want these guys to draft you high, take your shirt off and get as close to them as. It's like, I hope nobody took that the wrong way.
Yeah, man. Like, let me tell you something. That is the gayest shit I've ever. That is so mind-bogglingly gay, but I totally buy it. Like, I can totally envision that happening. Because when you think about it, like, that really does sound like it makes a lot of sense. I could literally envision the exact, because like when I think of like an amazing physique, funnily enough, when it comes to basketball, I think of Joakim Noah. Because I don't know if you remember, but he had boulder shoulders, man, and they were fucking rippling. Like you could see the striation in there. Like I'm looking at that shit, and I'm thinking, if his NBA career doesn't pan out, he could genuinely go into bodybuilding. Because there are guys who would kill for shoulders like that. And my God, if it wasn't for his ridiculous hair, he could have been like aesthetically an icon in the NBA. Now, Joakim Noah had a lot of other things going for him, but I'm like, dude, that guy would have got fucking drafted super fucking high as a big man with that caliber of defense if he did exactly what you said Corey Maggette was told to do by his agent. But it's even better that Corey Maggette was told to do that because his nickname was Bad Porn.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I wonder if he was happy about that nickname. I wonder if he liked it.
I'll check.
Like, that's an interesting one.
Maggette Bad Porn. Oh my God. You remember Ray AP?
Yeah, I remember Ray AP. Wasn't he the guy who,
I
like,
just had a
groped women?
Essentially, yes, we all made fun of him for it. The actual context
you.
there is that his fetish was sleeping and all that. So he said it was all with consent and stuff like that. But yeah,
This
it
changes
literally
things.
he
I
was
didn't
like
expect
he
to
would
see
ask
you
his
here.
whatever girl he was with. He was all like, could you take like some sleeping pills and then let me grope you? That was what he was into. Really
You
funny
always show
stuff
up
that he
in
would just admit
unusual
that
times.
to a bunch of strangers online. But I had a thread of his pop up when I searched for Corey Maggette bad porn. His thread is, if
Oh.
Corey Maggette is bad porn, who's good porn?
LeBron, I guess. Because he's, Well, oh, no, LeBron's nickname would be gay porn, right?
There you go. Because this right here, this is a thread from 2013. So like, this is classic NBAB right here. This is magnificent. We had Chris came in and said Kobe, and then all fucking legit comes in and quotes that post. Oh man. Some Portland's fans used to call Steve Blake soft porn because there was no penetration.
That's pretty good. Oh, shit. I gotta throw this thing away before it starts melting all over me. 1 second. It's a popsicle, by the way, in case you're trying to figure that one out.
I don't see anybody talking about Corey McGetty's take on his nickname. That's pretty sad. But hey, what are you gonna do?
Okay, I'm back. You still there, Snacks?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So LeBron's nickname is gay porn. Good porn could be, yeah, I guess it would be somebody like Kobe,
Kobe.
or
Exactly. Alright, hold on. I gotta see what the hell's wrong with this dog. I'll be right back.
okay.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh. Hmm.
Okay, where am I going? And poor Teoscar, he had a home run tonight, taken away. Ooh. All right, the Bill Simmons podcast is out. Man, I'm so happy the Heat were able to clean things up. I would have been really annoyed. Ooh. What the heck is that? Yeah, he just needed some time. I was never really that worried about him. But it's good to see. This team isn't going to win anything of consequence if he can't get going, so... You know, even though there were a lot of home runs in tonight's game, I don't feel like tonight was because of juiced baseballs. Like, this is a completely different circumstance, at least. So that's good, I guess.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry for the delay.
I sent you a meme.
Alright, hold on. Oh, God.
Booyah.
Yes.
Well done holding the line until we were able to get here.
Bill Simmons' podcast went up
Now that
15
we
minutes
know
ago,
the
so I know
Gibdos
what I'm
are
going to do late
susceptible
tonight when I'm
lightning,
going to bed.
This gives us a major advantage.
I will never forget Bill Simmons crying at the 2014 NBA draft when the
Is that
Hornets
Zelda?
traded Shabazz Napier to Miami because LeBron asked for Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, and then...
And when that trade was announced, Bill Simmons literally started crying.
Yeah. He actually wasted time crying about a guy who would end up playing on Miami for 1 year,
Real
scoring...
Gerudo Town is in
let me
danger.
look here. 261 points.
I found out yesterday when I was looking at Jaleel Okafor's career page, Shabazz Napier also is playing in the Mexican League.
Yeah. Man, he never
was
did
heading
anything
directly
in the
toward
league. I'm
those
looking at his career
tornadoes.
stats.
And if more Gibdos are
Yikes.
hiding in the storm.
He did average
Yara, we need to get back now.
10 points a game in his final NBA season on 41%
We're going on
shooting.
ahead.
Man,
I'll
for his
meet you in
career,
town.
he shot less than 40% from the field. This is like a player from the 1990s or something. Can't wait for the town memes. Those are gonna be good.
What?
The Boston Celtics the town memes because when Joe Mazzulla got hired by the Celtics to be their head coach, one thing he said was his favorite movie
Oh,
is
right.
The Town, and he watches it 4 times a week. Which sounds to me like he's trying to, suck up to the Celtics fans. Trying to, like, see, I'm cool like you guys. I like Boston stuff.
You should have said The Departed.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't believe anybody can watch the same movie 4 times a week every week and not be, like, really, really annoyed by it.
I could only do that with the perfect movie. You know what the perfect movie is?
Debbie Does Dallas?
The Dark Knight.
You think you could watch that movie 4 times a week, every week, and be
Yes.
good with it? That's a lot, man. That's a fucking lot. When you think about it, though, that was actually a bad omen. Because the climax of The Town is a very poorly planned out heist that gets everybody killed.
Oh, I thought the climax of The Town was when Joe Mazzulla has to watch another man fuck his wife.
Saba.
I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. That's just what's going to happen later tonight. NBA Twitter saying, "Don't let us win Game 8." That's fucking good.
Yeah, I wonder when the NBA is going to go to a 9-game series because they want more games. They want more playoff money.
If we've learned anything over the last 5 years, I'm sorry, 6, because this includes the 2017 season too. They lost a lot of money in 2017, because the Warriors were winning their series too fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the game the Cavs won was one of the most rigged finals games ever, and it was not to make LeBron win the championship when he was supposed to or anything like that. It's literally because they were going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars if they didn't have, because they signed a contract with as part of their TV deal. They needed to have a set minimum of playoff games, and if the finals had ended in 4 games instead of 5, then what would have happened is that the contract, they wouldn't have met their end of the bargain, which means that the broadcaster would have been able to take a larger share of the revenue. We're talking about the NBA losing 9-figure sums of money, hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, they fucking rigged that game. They had every reason to. Like, why wouldn't they? But because of that shit and what happened this year and all this kind of stuff, I think the 9-game series is going to be in the conference finals.
Yeah, I could see that. We'll say The Town is probably the most Boston movie I've ever seen.
More than The Departed? The Departed has Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yeah, but The Town, like the climax of the movies at Fenway Park, like that is the most. I think that's the most Boston movie ever made.
The only way it could be more Boston-y would be if the climax of the movie was Matt Damon and Ben Affleck climaxing at the same time.
I mean, who's
Ben
the
Affleck is in The Town.
Yes, he is, and he directed it too.
Is Matt Damon in The Town? I've never seen The Town.
Oh, okay. No, it
Oh,
has
Pete Postlewaite's in The Town. How about
his final role. Yes, his final role.
Pretty sad.
He's awesome, and I feel like he wasn't in as many great movies as an actor like him should be. Like he's obviously got the bit role in Inception. That's cool, but it's not a very big role. And then he has he was like in the Lost World, which is not a very good movie. I don't think it's okay.
But that was a great role that he had there. But my favorite role of his is playing the villain Obadiah Hakeswill. Sergeant Hakeswill in the Sharp series. And I loved him as the villain, as Obadiah Hakeswill, because Obadiah Hakeswill was, even though he was a soldier, fighting in the Napoleon Wars and everything, he was a soldier in the British Army, he was also like the dirtiest and the evilest soldier in the British Army, and basically raped every woman he came across. And what's funny is that he was practically immortal. Like, every attempt Sharp had to try to kill him, it was practically like a Bond movie, where like no matter how overly elaborate and exotic the death, he'd somehow manage to find a way out of it. And it was the craziest shit. And he did a great job playing that role. It was only for a couple of episodes, but he did a great job. And one of the nuttiest things is that role he had in Inception. He managed to get Cillian Murphy to shed genuine tears in that climactic scene.
Yeah, which I love
when
that scene.
When they have the dream go off and all that. He got him to shed genuine tears because Cillian Murphy was the first person Pete Postlewaite told he was dying. So, but before they started filming, he's all like, "Hey, I'm dying," to make him cry.
He was only 64. Wow. For some reason, I thought he was older than that. Oh, he was one of the inmates in the third Alien movie. I don't remember that. I've seen that movie. Oh yeah, of course he's Mr. Kobayashi in The Usual Suspects.
That's a spoiler.
Oh yeah, that's true. But if you haven't seen that movie yet, it's kind of your fault.
I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. I just know that it's a meme to say that's a spoiler about anything involving The Usual Suspects.
Have you actually not seen The Usual Suspects?
No, I have not. Kevin Spacey's in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have no intention of seeing that movie.
Yeah, it's
I just don't like him.
I don't think anybody likes him right now.
I liked him. I didn't like him before it was cool to not like him. He actually, he's so bad he almost makes me not want to watch Glengarry Glen Ross.
What's
and he
the
had
movie?
such a minor role in that movie.
What's that movie he's in? The Yes, They Deserve to Die and I Hope They Burn in Hell movie?
That's A Time to Kill. He played the prosecutor.
Oh.
Right. Okay. I don't think I've seen that one all the way through.
You need me to tell you the story or anything?
You can if you want to. I know it's got Sam Jackson in it, and I know it's got...
Well, okay, the premise of the movie is that Sam Jackson's daughter, a very young girl, I think she's like 10 or something, ends up being abducted and violently raped by two insane, crazy rednecks who are super duper racists. And this is taking place in Missouri in a very heavily black town. And obviously it ends up being incredibly racially charged, the whole concept of the case and everything. But Sam Jackson is the dad, and when the boys were being arraigned for, like, before their trial had begun or anything like that, he just lit them both up.
Oh.
So then the trial that the movie's about ends up being Sam Jackson being charged with the brazen, wanton, broad daylight murder of these two boys in a courthouse. And Matthew McConaughey is playing his attorney, and the whole story of the movie is just having to navigate the treacherous racial waters of how controversial this case is and blah blah blah, but like literally it's just a slam dunk for everybody in the world. It's all like, if you're a father and something like that happened to your daughter, you blow those boys away the same fucking way that Sam Jackson did. So he ends up getting acquitted, and then it's yay, all that kind of shit.
Oh, I mean, okay, but part of you being willing to do that as a father is also you're willing to deal with the consequences, right? Like, I don't think that just because that's the case doesn't, it, like, yeah. I'm not sure I'm picking up what that one's putting down.
And see, that's the thing, is doing that as a father is something that every father in the world,
Oh?
who's actually a good father and like cares about being a father would do, because that's like your job. And like you said, it's a sacrifice because you're sitting there like, I know that this could possibly ruin my life, but I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Because my life, once I had a kid, came down to protecting my child, and with that monster doing that to my kid, my entire purpose for being is just to kill that son of a bitch. So you do it. The thing is, you can tell how just a society is based off of their reaction to that. If not a jury in the land would convict you for that shit, hell yeah. Like, I was watching a Count Dankula Mad Lad, and it was, a father had killed the man who molested his son, and it was like a really heartbreaking case because the man was really down on his luck, and the father passed by him one night, and he really felt bad for the guy, so he decided to help him out, and the guy was so grateful, and they developed a really close friendship, and they helped that guy who was struggling out, and they helped him turn his life around. And then he used the fact that he got close to that family to abduct the kid, and then he tried to fake like he was actually the kid's dad or something. He dyed his hair and everything, and he ran off to go, because he thought the kid was in love with him too. Ran off to go live as homos together in California, and this is the late '70s, early '80s. So like that was actually a thing that he thought might happen, but obviously it didn't. FBI caught up with him. They arrested him, and the father, as the trial was getting ready to go down and everything, the dad got a tip from someone at the local news station, and he was waiting, and he domed him right there on live television, fucking in the news broadcast and everything. So even though obviously he did it, obviously it was premeditated murder, and there was no fucking argument that it wasn't premeditated murder. It was just like, what would you do if that was your kid? He got fucking sentenced to 300 hours of community service.
I mean, I get it. At the same time, like, oh man, I don't know. I guess this is what makes the whole idea of the rule of law so hard.
To where I am.
Right, because I mean, like it was clear. It was clear as day. He was as guilty as a cat in a goldfish bowl. Like the FBI caught him red-handed. And the kid, because again, this happened in the late '70s, early '80s. The kid to this day still is an advocate. He speaks out about recognizing the signs of a child being abused. Because it wasn't like he just grabbed the kid and ran off, actually. He'd been molesting the kid for a number of months, but the kid, aside from being very young, he also had been pressured the same way that it always happens in instances like this. He'd been pressured and bullied and cajoled into thinking that this was okay and he can't tell anybody about it and blah, blah, blah. It had been going on for months, and that's how he ended up thinking that the kid was in love with him, in his delusions, and then he just nabbed him and ran off. But it was clear as day that he was guilty, and it was clear as day also that for the dad it was premeditated murder. But it was all like, that was what the fucking lawyer brought up. He said, if it was your kid, what would you do? And Jer said, same fucking thing, man.
It's a tough thing to answer at the end of the day. Like, not to draw a false equivalency here, because I know they're different things, but the guy in my Discord avatar, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like the fact that he did what he did knowing he was going to go to jail and he was going to have to kill himself in prison. Like, I don't know. To me, that just makes it feel different to do it. It's an act of sacrifice.
Exactly.
Like, if he did that knowing that he was just going to get acquitted, I think that makes the whole thing feel very different.
No. He didn't know he was going to get acquitted. He was ready to go to jail for the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The dad in this instance, because the the boy's mother and father had been divorced by the time of the incident and everything. Um, so even though they'd been divorced, his ex-wife called him up while he was in jail, and she said the least you could have done was let me drive you, you motherfucker. You know, like you should have let me be part of it too. And his response was, he was all like, "The I'm probably going to go to jail for the rest of my life, and our son needs to have one of his parents in his life to be there for him. So if I've got to go down, I can't bring you down with me."
Ah.
He was 100% ready to go to jail for the rest of his life, and he would have slept like a baby.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he was interviewed a couple of months before his death. He had dementia, like pretty severe dementia, and he was like in his 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Even though he had all that dementia going on, one of the only things he vividly remembered and was completely lucid about was capping that motherfucker. And the reporter asked him, they said, all these years later, do you regret anything? He said, not a damn bit. If you had to do it over again, would you? He's all like, I do it in my dreams every night. And it's all like, that man right there is base. Holy shit.
I imagine that's how it would be for most people at the end of the day.
What an absolute lad. Let me check.
Beasteen wants to know which Mad Lad was it.
That's what I'm referring to. I'm checking right now.
Hey, I see. Welcome to the stream.
We were talking about this last night. I was saying
Ah.
I wish that for the NBA 2K My eras, you could pick which year you wanted to start.
Ooh.
Man, I wish that I could, because like I don't want to have to start up a game, because when you do for the Kobe era, you start the 2002-2003 season. So you're starting in 2002. I don't want to have to sim out 9 fucking seasons just to be able to get Kyrie. But man, I want to have Kyrie. You know?
I wonder if 2K simulates the whole COVID thing. Like when you get to 2020 in a simulated franchise, are you going to have to
My
play
guess
like...
my guess is no, because I went back and Len Bias is alive.
Oh,
Like
that's
he's
pretty big.
there. They just he's kind of generic. Because, like, obviously they don't know how the fuck he would have been, but, like, he's there. Alright, let me check.
The ad break is actually about to roll, so while you're figuring that out, I'm going to step away for a few minutes.
Okay, I'll post it into chat, guys.
Be right back, everybody. Okay, I am back.
Yeah. Gary Plauchet. There you go. Yeah. When he pops the motherfucker, like obviously the cops are right there because they were escorting the guy. Um, and they immediately go for Gary, to get control of the gun and everything. And you hear them, they scream, "Gary, why? Why, Gary? Why'd you do it, Gary?" And people have wondered for years why the fuck they'd say something like that, because it's all like, what the hell do you mean? Like, that's the easiest answer in the world. Well, the thing is it's like they were saying that because they thought he was going to go to jail for the rest of his life for doing that. They're like, come on, man. It was a slam dunk that this guy was going to go to jail, and he was not going to have a fun time being in prison as a fucking child predator. But I mean, it's an otherworldly thing, to have a need for vengeance on that level. And just speaking as myself, I don't know if I could stand in the way of that. I don't really think it's my place to stand in the way of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Oh.
It's like, but I think about like that line that Chuck has in Chicanery about how, the rule of law is mankind's greatest invention, the idea that no matter who you are, your actions have consequences.
Have appeared outside town. Shore up
Yeah.
the defenses at the gate.
Like, I think about that, and it's like, well, I mean, if you just kind of decide in that situation that, no, there are going to be no consequences for this
Enemies have
action,
emerged from the hive at the east gate. Stop
I
them.
don't know. I don't know how to feel about it.
It's not easy to answer.
Enemies are pouring out of the hive near the north gate too. Take them out. Enemies from the hive near the west gate. Let's hit it with lightning.
Why is it not working?
Flying enemies from the hive at the east gate. They're heading straight for us.
Why is it not working?
Yes.
There we
that
go.
hive is out of action. Enemies have been spotted inside town. Flying enemies from the west gate hive. Time for a lightning strike or two. The enemies won't stop coming until we... Oh, right! Another hive down! Eliminate every enemy you see. We're the last line of defense.
Yeah. I'm coming. Oh, shit. Well, why don't you fight back, you
sorry.
dumb woman? What if one day there was like an NBA scout that was like representing a player, Oh no, I'm sorry, like an NBA agent representing a player that was like, okay, when you're getting scouted, go up to the scouts, get as close as you can, and then take your pants off.
Go up to the scouts, get as close as you can, and say, now, I know you guys like LeBron. And you know what? If you've ever seen a gay porn before, you would know that his appearance is very close to mine. And then take your pants off. Holy shit. Oh, man. What an absolute meme. Whoopsie doopsie, we made a fucky wucky. The Isle of Nonsense. That's fucking. That's an amazing title.
Ooh. Ah. Oh. Ooh.
Get up as close as you can to the scouts and ask if you can please have a water.
That'll get you arrested, though. Like, how could you do something so controversial and yet so brave?
May I please have a water?
May I please have water?
I wonder what made them choose to do that dopey voice. Because it's perfect.
I can't watch the original video anymore without hearing that in my head. Like,
I mean, it's hard to find the original video. It's on, like,
oh, the original, yes.
yeah.
But if you just mean a copy of the original, so that you can
Monsters
see
have
what the
appeared
footage
outside town.
was,
Shore up the defenses at the gate.
like I could find it for you and show you right now, man.
No, I know where it is. I've seen it on Twitter, but what I'm saying is, like, it's kind of hard
Enemies have
to
emerged from the hive at the east gate.
hard to
Stop
find
them.
the original one because, I mean, I don't think YouTube will even allow it, now that I think about it.
No. Hold on. I'm trying to do something that requires a bit of focus. Give me a second.
That Kiefer Sutherland
Enemies are
video is
pouring
still
out
up
of the hive
somehow.
near the north gate.
Yeah.
2.
Some memes definitely managed to.
Take them out.
Which is an amazing video.
Correct.
Yes, that hive is out of action. Enemies from the hive near the west
I
gate.
need
Let's
3
hit 'em with
total
lightning.
diamonds. Son of a bitch.
What are you playing?
So not good.
Oh, okay.
What name that would be? May I
Flying
please
enemies
have
from the
a
hive at the east gate. Their enemies have been spotted inside town. Did they break through the gates?
Oh man.
Flying enemies from the west gate hive. Time. Oh, right, another hive down.
Okay, I timestamped this to a funny part that I think you'll enjoy, but this is
The enemies won't stop coming until we wipe out
the best
enemies are nearing
archive
the center
of the
of
whole
town.
thing.
Prepare to
Just
attack.
start from the beginning, but the timestamp is funny.
Oh, no, I've seen it, believe me. I saw it originally on Twitter.
Okay, but yeah, the original is gone. The original is gone, but that's still there. The original is gone, and it's not coming back.
For fairly
So-
obvious reasons.
Yeah. It's tragic.
Eliminate every enemy you see. We're the last line of defense. That's the last of the
Please have my
hives.
state.
All we have to do now is clear out the rest of the Gibdos.
Whew. Alright. I thought I was a dead man.
Then you were very disappointed to find out that you're not.
Exactly. Come on, another diamond. Fuck! Barnacles, Patrick. N is for anywhere and anytime at all down here in the deep blue sea. F is for fire that burns down the whole town. U is for uranium. Bombs. N is for no survivors.
Say it with me. F-U-C-K.
You ain't got no alibi, you ugly.
2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe.
Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Second Tesla has
Damn
hit
it,
the
that's not
World
what I
Trade
wanted either.
Towers.
Yeah, there you go. Based.
I can't help but notice how within what felt like a few days people got bored of trolling Twitter with fake verified accounts. And now it's just
Yeah.
like back to normal basically.
Yeah, now it's just free money for Elon. This is what social media and TikTok and stuff like that has done to people. Is like, it's obliterated their fucking ability to think to such an extent that they can't conceive of things in long-term concepts anymore. You know, because they're like, oh yeah, this is a really stupid idea that he's come up with. Oh, this is going to backfire so much, tee-hee. But then, like, what actually happened? You know, they were right for, like, a day. And then after that, things, like, exactly like you said, they went back to normal, with the lone exception being, now Elon's making a ton more money and Twitter is profitable for the first time since Jack left.
Like at first it seemed like that was going to be a huge problem, impersonator verified accounts, but I can't think of a single significant incident since within like the first couple weeks of the verified account Twitter blue thing.
Because everyone who came up with a good idea, they got the chance to do it, and they got bored, didn't feel the need to keep doing it, and especially not if it actually was going to cost them money to keep shitposting.
Right.
Alright, there's another diamond. Hell yes, we just need one more. And I can go home. One more fucking diamond. Let's go. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. I'm gonna fucking die. I'm lost. Uh-oh.
May I please have a water?
I'm not even kidding. I'm actually fucked.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you saw this or not. I think I sent you a link a few days ago, but have you seen the myhouse.wad thing at all?
I have no idea, personally.
Okay, well, it's been a big kind of phenomenon and revelation in the Doom fandom.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that somewhat.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm actually lost in this cave and I'm gonna die. Dude, this fucking sucks. I gotta reload. Fuck! Yeah, I've heard about it. I haven't watched it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, basically somebody created a Doom mod that is incredibly elaborate and well done, using like psychological horror and doing things that are supposed to be impossible in a Doom map, like having multiple layers in a level on top of each other. And people are just blown away that somebody put that much work into something. It takes like probably, if you're not using guides, it takes probably like 4 or 5 hours to get through. If you're ever able to get through. Like, some of the stuff is genuinely really hard to figure out. But one guy made a mod where Doom Guy rides on a lawnmower the whole time. And it's fucking hilarious because the idea of this guy spending years making this Doom mod, pouring his heart and soul into it, putting these little existential horror vibes into it, making something that is genuinely freaky and weird. And then like somebody makes a little mod to it where Doom Guy just jumps on a riding lawnmower and cruises around. And in the mod, every health pack is replaced with like a Monster Energy drink. So whenever
Nice.
Doom Guy needs a health boost, he chugs a
really
freaking
good.
Monster. So
That's really
everyone's,
good.
making fun of it like, big boomer energy, because whenever the guy jumps on the lawnmower, he has a voice file that plays, and it goes, "Hell yeah, I have the power of God," and Thunderstruck starts playing. And it like clashes so terribly with the mod,
pretty
it's
good.
hilarious. It's great. I love it.
That is absolutely fantastic. I agree. Wait, is that a warper? Yes, it is. I'm getting the fuck away from that bad boy. It's the first one I've seen this playthrough. Run!
Yep. Boston sports teams have now lost Game 7s at home to an 8 seed twice this month.
Wow.
That's almost as bad as the video game industry producing Redfall and Gollum in the same month.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, Moist actually beat fucking Gollum. He got hypnotized by how shitty the game is, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll just finish it."
Impressive. Most impressive. Alright, save here. Please get lucky. Fuck. That was not me getting lucky.
Are you a fan of boomer shooters? I don't know if you played any, but
Well, that's the thing, is it depends on what you classify as a boomer shooter.
it's become kind of an indie phenomenon lately to make a lot of like these first-person shooters that resemble like Doom and Duke Nukem, games like that have these big retro vibes, and they've taken to calling them boomer shooters. The idea is a lot of the modern shooters kind of suck, so they're trying...
Oh.
to basically just say, okay, let's do what used to work when people were much younger and games were much simpler.
Now, I like the concept of thinking, okay, what we're doing isn't working, so let's revisit something that did work. However, just trying to ape something that was successful without understanding why it was successful is not a recipe for success. But literally, you know, even though like I don't like a lot of things and I complain about a lot of things, nothing would make me happier than to actually enjoy something. You know, I want to be happy. I want to be entertained. I want to enjoy a movie or a video game. Or some more chicken and some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. You know, I don't want to have to go through feeling so disappointed over and over again with how bad all this shit is, you know? But I mean, I like plenty of games that are old enough to where they'd be classified as boomer stuff, but
Obviously, the idea with the boomer shooter is that it's a game made recently that apes...
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that sense, I'd have to hear about a game that falls into that classification. That someone could say, okay, here, this is an example of that, and then see if I like that. I can't just think of, hey, did I like this one thing? Fucking hell.
I think a decent number of boomer shooters are actually just made in the Doom engine. I mean, Austin, doesn't everybody hate the Golden Knights for some reason? I don't know why, but my understanding is that most people don't like the fact that they got so good so quickly. I don't think people would enjoy them.
I don't hate the Golden Knights, I just hate people from Vegas.
Nobody's from Vegas. People go to Vegas. There's no such thing as a person from Vegas. Yeah, and I know the Heat have won titles before, obviously, Austin, but at least this year, you cannot deny they are clearly an underdog story. Like, whether or not they should be is a different discussion, but for this year, they are an underdog story. This isn't like if the Lakers made the finals. Like, and on some level, you could say they're an underdog story because they sucked so bad at the start of the year, but I don't think anybody would consider them underdogs.
Right. I mean, obviously my take is extremely biased because I'm a Heat fan. But what I should say is that I don't care who wins. I'm happy either way. Because I'm a huge Jokic fan, and it's my personal belief that someday he will ascend to his rightful place as the NBA GOAT. I think he's on his way, and he could definitely make it, and he would deserve to. So I either get to see the guy that I stand for really hard, and my current favorite player in the league get to win his first championship and silence all the haters, or I get to see my favorite team win the championship and again silence all the haters. Like, you have any idea how delicious that would feel after listening to these people talk shit for so fucking long and then just watching us consistently shit all over them? Man, that would feel fucking amazing. I would be a happy boy. So it doesn't matter to me what ends up happening. Obviously, there's one option I would prefer to a much greater extent, but I'm fine if the Nuggets win.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though I think Tim Duncan's the GOAT and I stand for him really hard, I did not want the Spurs to beat us in either one of those finals. And it was because everyone hated Miami so much, I wanted them all to just fuck off and die. And I'm like, I can't think of anything that'd make that feel better than us beating the unbeatable Spurs. The Schadenfreude in 2013 felt so amazing.
If the Heat,
My God.
yeah, if the Heat had lost that finals too, it would have felt like the 28-game win streak was a waste. Like, we really did all that and we couldn't even win the title. Like, this year, there's nothing like that.
Exactly. It's exactly how Warriors fans felt after the 7-3-9 season. It was like, well, what in the hell is the point of having the best regular season record ever if you also have the biggest finals choke in history? You know? And Bay Area sports fans 1,000,000% deserve to experience that. Ha ha ha. Hardy hardy fucking har. Jesus. Shut up. Ada, how many people are on that station? Shut up.
Shut up, Wesley.
Those were the fucking days, man. No, that one was funny. That was a hilarious Star Trek edit from the GOAT video editor. That fucking shit was hilarious.
Hasn't all his stuff been taken down now?
Yes, unfortunately. But the good stuff, the funny stuff, was for that thing I mentioned. Picard was just gonna have the ship randomly destroy the space station. It was like filled with people. So Deanna Troi, she goes, Data, how many people are on that station? Because she's like, how many people are we about to murder? And then Picard, he gets really wide-eyed and he just goes, shut up. Oh man, that was good stuff.
How long have you been a Heat fan, Snacks? I think...
Very, 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 very long time.
Ever since they got Myers Leonard.
Exactly. No, I've been a sports fan for fucking 20-some years. Being a kid, you know, the teams that you watch and the teams that you like and shit, you know, you always bounce around here and there. But, you know, I was always a Miami sports fan.
Nothing makes you not want to root for Bay Area teams like living in the Bay Area.
Seriously, I fucking hate those pieces of shit. It's been so long, because I mean, I can't remember exactly when I started watching, and even more, I can't remember when I was like actually able to pay attention to shit. Because I don't have autism to the extent that Joker does. And what I mean by that is I don't have the ability to remember things, like numbers and dates and stuff as perfectly as he does. But, I remember watching, you know, the Shikobi Lakers and, like, Tim Duncan's early seasons in the Alamo Dome with the fucking funny colored paint. A lot of replays of Jordan, but I'm reasonably sure because, like, Jordan retired for the second time when I was, like, 6, about to turn 7. Ugh. Ugh. Jesus. Okay, finally made it back. Thousands of years.
I've been a Blazers fan for longer than any of you. I've been a fan ever since they drafted Brandon Roy.
Pretty much. Like, I laughed at first, because I'm all like, oh, geez, you know, like, I thought it was a joke, but then I'm like, dude, fucking how long ago was that? Like, 2006 was, I think.
Well, that was the shit that Gannon used to say to troll Blazers fans whenever he pretended to be a Blazers fan, because back then it was like, that was like 3 years prior.
Exactly, so it's like, I've been a Blazers fan longer than any of you. For 2 whole years.
You should do that with Niners fans, too. I was like, I've been a Niners fan since they drafted Patrick Willis, and this was like a year after they drafted him. And people actually took me seriously, too. People would be like, bro, you do realize we drafted him a year and a half ago.
No, sit there and make it an even bigger meme. I've been a Bucks fan longer than any of you. I've been a fan since they drafted Tom Brady.
That is a good one.
Magnificent. Okay. Alright, let's see here. We'll do 3 for food, 2 for water. So 2 table quarters, please. Then I'll just grab 3 peepers. Jeepers, creepers.
Fucking hate the red moon.
Oh man, I was trying to intentionally lose a game earlier in my Sonic's franchise. So, like, we were down by 1 with 2 seconds left, and I just randomly threw it to KD and had him try to chuck something up, and he actually made it.
You just hold the ball.
He actually just made a contested fucking... Because I just wanted him to throw something like that. You're right, I should have. But,
How are you trying to lose?
this, I just wanted to for the narrative. But, it's almost crazy, because, like, when you try to lose, that's when the AI is, like, the easiest to beat, funnily enough. You just start making the stupidest fucking decisions. It's insane.
A longtime fan of the Seattle Kraken.
Oh, man. It's a good one, too. Alright, let's see here. Tissue water.
Justin's asking, what finals run was better, the Heat in 2020 or the Heat this year? I think it's this year because that was in the bubble. This is going to always feel better.
There is no question that it's this year. Because Jimmy has had some amazing performances this year. Plus, this year has been crazier for the narrative, for the story. No one can sit here and put an asterisk next to this thing because like half our team's been injured the whole time. We had probably the hardest road to the finals that I think any team has had since the start of the new century, to be honest with you. This has got to be the unlikeliest finals run that any team has had since.
Be like the 1977 Washington Bullets or something.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So, also in 2020, people thought that we just got lucky and, you know, asterisk, bubble, all that kind of shit. Because the season afterward, we lost to the Bucks, even though we beat the Bucks in 2020. And then the season after, we lose to the Bucks, and then they win the championship. That was our fucking ring. And then the season after that, last year, we lose to the Celtics. And we came damn close. People sat there and said, I guess it was just a fluke that Miami made the finals in the bubble year, and they can't get it done outside of that. So what do we do this year? We beat the Bucks again, humiliating them. We beat the Celtics and showed them that it wasn't just some fucking shit. You know, they don't have our number, none of that crap. They fired their coach for consensual sex for no reason. And all of that shit, you know? And this year feels way better. Other thing is that in 2020, we thought we actually had a chance to win, but we realized, thankfully, this year we don't have a fucking chance. So.
Yeah, I remember very clearly you said you didn't think you would win, but it wasn't like a lost cause.
In 2020 in the bubble.
Yeah, when you got to the finals, you were like, I don't think we're gonna win, but you thought it was possible.
Right, when we got there, I was like, I would not at all be surprised if we lost, and I don't think that we're going to pull this off. As far as I'm concerned, making the finals was like the achievement in and of itself, plus we beat the Bucks when everyone said that we didn't stand a chance. Everyone can suck my ass. You know, I was making the memes and everything. But I did think that victory was possible. I was like, I don't trust that Anthony Davis is going to stay healthy. And the thing is because of the bubble, he did stay healthy, so they won off of that. And outside of the bubble, he's never been healthy since. The Lakers were the ones who got to go on and show that the bubble was just a fluke. Miami showed that the bubble wasn't a fluke for them, but the bubble was damn well a fluke for the fucking Lakers. The Lakers never even should have made the Western Conference Finals this year. They managed to play a disheartened Warriors team that had no fucking chance of winning because they spent their life force just to make it past Sacramento. And I almost correctly predicted every single fucking series in the Nuggets' fucking playoff run. With the exception of that, because the Warriors shouldn't have beat Sacramento. They got fucking lucky in Game 7, and they went on to show that by getting their asses whipped by the Lakers, who had no business being in the Western Conference Finals and got fucking destroyed by Denver. The Western Conference Finals should have been Denver versus Talentmento. And I'm so sad that it wasn't.
Yeah, if this was
And
next
everyone
year,
got to
it would
sit
have
there
been.
and say, everyone got to sit there and say so much shit about how the Lakers are going to win the championship this year. Like, they fucking went crazy. They're like, Anthony Davis is going to expose Jokic as the fraud that he is. And like, they said so much retarded shit. I'm
Yeah,
so
like
glad.
that Nick Wright guy.
Yeah.
Like, who rides LeBron's nuts. Like, was it really this hard for you guys to realize how good this Denver team is?
Yes.
Like, KCP, who's been like a bum his whole career, suddenly can't miss from 3. That's how positive the vibes are on this team.
Exactly. They're the team of destiny. You know? And like, it almost feels like Miami might be the team of destiny because of the incredibly unlikely fucking basically clown show that they've managed to achieve getting this far. But You know, the dub's the dub. That's all that matters. And they can all suck my nuts. So we need a computer chip and lead. All right.
It was Nick Wright who the other day tweeted out something like, I need somebody to explain to me why Jordan is better than LeBron without saying 6 rings. It's like, it wouldn't be that hard, but like that's a really weird thing to say. He said, I need a Jordan stan to convince me that Jordan is better than LeBron without using the phrase 6 rings. And I'm like, I mean, I guess somebody could probably do that, but that's a weird thing to ask for.
Because, see, here's the thing, is that they'll sit there and they'll argue, you know what, LeBron would have won 6 championships if he was on those same teams that Jordan had, which is correct. However, Jordan would have won more championships than LeBron did with the same teams that LeBron had by sheer virtue of the fact that he wouldn't have given up that fucking goose egg in Game 4 of the Heat Mavs series, so that would have been at least one more ring than LeBron had. Still wins 2012, still wins 2013. Considering the Warriors hardcore fucking choked in 2016, still wins that one. Yeah, I mean...
You know,
what other
I mean,
ones?
the thing is, the 98 Bulls actually sucked because Pippen's back didn't work. Rodman wasn't as good as he was before. That was not a very good team.
Yeah.
So,
You know, if you take, like, absolute fucking peak prime Jordan, do you think he'd have won with that 2007 Cavs team?
probably not. That
Because
team
that
sucked.
series, that team did suck, but that series was ridiculously close. In terms of the scores,
Yeah, probably not. Like, the second best player on that Cavs team was Big Z. And
yes.
because I don't think they
All
had
right.
Delonte West yet, or Mo Williams.
No, they didn't. Because see, here's an example. Now, LeBron kind of laid a goose egg in Game 1 because the leading scorer for the Cavs was Daniel Gibson with 16 points.
Back then, it
LeBron,
was so easy to just crowd the paint and turn him into a jump shooter that I actually buy it.
yes, and remember, this is back when LeBron didn't have a jump shot. You know, he was LeBrick. And because of this series, fucking, what's his face? The dumbass. Roasted the shit out of LeBron. Skip Bayless, there you go. So, LeBron got absolutely fucking obliterated. He had 14 points on 4 for 16 shooting, 4 assists and 6 turnovers
Mm-hmm.
in Game 1. And the Spurs won that by 9 points. So if you put peak Jordan on that team, obviously he's going to do better than that. But that wasn't peak LeBron, to be fair. However,
Well,
if
go look
you
at what
if you
Jordan did in his 4th or 5th year in the league. I think he was better than
exactly
that.
in his 4th season, he fucking they lost to the Celtics, but the Bulls against the Celtics, Bird said it was like the craziest shit he'd ever seen anyone do. Game 2, LeBron actually has a good game. However, they lose by 11 points. So, okay, first 2 games. Now, those are on the road. You know, you're in San Antonio. You're having a tough time. LeBron's got a lot of pressure on him. Plus, the defense was able to scheme directly for him. It was tough. However, in the 4th quarter, Cleveland went on a 25-6 run. Absolute fucking insanity. And the Spurs ended up winning by 11 points, but outside of that insane 25-6 run, 4th quarter scoring was 30-14. which means that outside of that run, the rest of the scoring for the quarter was 5 for Cleveland and 8 for San Antonio, winning by 13 total points. You know, if it hadn't have been for the fact that they just laid a fucking egg in the first half, they could have won that game. They dominated. Now, you look at game 3,
They should have won that
they
game.
only... Yes, they should have won that game. Tim Duncan had his lowest scoring game in any finals game that he ever played. He only had 14 points. But LeBron missed the potential game-tying three-pointer. They only lost by 3 points. In game 4, they lost by 1. And this one's crazy. Cleveland would stage a rally near the end of the third quarter and the first 5 minutes of the fourth, scoring 14 consecutive points to take the first lead in the second half of the entire series. But then the Spurs would then go on a 12-3 rally their own to retake the lead and win the series in a sweep. Now, if you put Jordan in his fourth season on this team, I'll look at Jordan's stats real quick for his fourth season. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1988 season, he averaged 35 points per game on 53% shooting. In the regular season, it was 1988. Let's see how he did in the playoffs. Here we go, 1988. Now, they won the first round against Cleveland. I think, as a matter of fact, that might have been the year that he hit that famous shot over Craig Elo.
I think it was.
Jordan shot over. Yes, that was the 88 season. Yeah. So, Jordan in his fourth year had one of his most iconic moments. So, that's the Jordan that butt blasts the Cavs. Now, they lost in the second round to the Pistons. And that was the bad boy Pistons who, they lost in the finals that year to the Lakers. That was the repeat year. However, they would then go back to the finals the next 2 seasons and win the championship both times. And Jordan, even going up against the bad boys Pistons who were fouling the shit out of him and had the Jordan rules and everything going on, still averaged 27.4 points per game on 49% shooting in that series. That's his fourth season in the NBA. As if that shit isn't enough. Before that, when he's hitting the shot over Elo and butt blasting the Cavs, the previous series, he was averaging 45 points per game on 56% shooting. Holy fucking shit. So, you know, all these folks would sit there and make the argument, if you put LeBron on Jordan's teams, he still wins 6 rings. But if you put Jordan on LeBron's teams, he wins a lot more rings than fucking LeBron did. Even in the same circumstances, Jordan in his fourth season was way better than LeBron was in his fourth season. It is impressive that LeBron dragged that Cavs team to the finals, yes. Especially, like, he had an historic performance over the Pistons in the ECF that year. You can totally give him credit for that. But Jesus tap dancing Christ, Jordan was a fucking animal at the exact same point in his career that LeBron was that year. And considering how close that Spurs series was in the first place, fucking Jordan would have won that shit, man. Because LeBron wasn't scoring for the first 2 games, and that was why they were getting blown out. And then the other 2 games, LeBron was scoring, but those games were damn close already. Jordan averaged 45 would have fucking taken it. That'd be over half his team's points.
I wonder if the Spurs would have, like, found some way, like, especially that era when the Pistons knew how to, like, shut down Jordan. The Spurs might have been able to come up with something akin to that. Like, throw a lot of bodies at him, hit him a lot when he drives into the paint.
What I don't understand why people don't do this, and it's crazy to me because it worked. For the teams that have beaten LeBron, this works. What you do is you don't defend LeBron. You don't scheme the defense around beating LeBron. You schemed the defense around beating his teammates. You know?
Yeah, you just let J.J. Barea defend him in the post one-on-one.
Exactly. Because, see, what happened? What happened in the 2014 finals when the Spurs absolutely destroyed Miami? LeBron still popped the fuck off. He got anything he wanted. But the Spurs literally
Oh?
clamped everyone on Miami down. Bosch couldn't get any open shots the entire series.
Oh.
And they fucking defended Wade the same way that people defend Rajon Rondo. Like, in 2013, Wade had incredible gravity. Like, he had Kyle Korver level gravity because he was such a dangerous off-ball cutter that if you gave him the space to get a clear head of steam and start running to the basket to receive a pass, it was as dangerous as if you let an elite shooter just catch the ball in the corner and have a wide open shot. In 2013 and 2014, he was such an old man and done and exhausted. They literally just said, you know what, whatever, let him.
I don't remember that one play in the finals where he drove to the basket and like lost the ball out of bounds and went to the ref and said something like, that's got to be something, like saying you got to call something there. And like
Right.
the microphone caught it really loudly. So you could tell exactly what Wade was saying. It was like, that's got to be something. And,
Right.
you know, that was like a big reason why that series got out of hand. Wade was no longer able to get those calls
Right.
because he just couldn't charge in the way that he used to. He was like Earl Campbell at the end of his career.
Right. You know, not only that, but the Spurs played an amazing job of defending Miami's ability to make open shots. They just sent Kawhi in there to defend LeBron one-on-one. And funnily enough, that's the exact thing you don't want to have happen when you're a dominating star. Defending Kobe like that, he'd have popped off for 60. Defending Jordan like that, he'd have popped off for 60. Defending Shaq like that, he'd have popped off for 60. Defending LeBron like that, LeBron's game is totally different. Yeah, he can score a lot of points, but when he scores a lot of points, 50 is like his limit, and he very rarely goes that far. He wants to pass the ball. He wants to create an effective offense. Knowing that, if you just clamp down on his teammates, you know, like guys like Jordan and Kobe would have taken that as a challenge, and they'd have fucking done their best to drop as many points they possibly could. They'd have gone for trying to break Wilt's record. They wanted that shit. LeBron's a totally different story, and it's fucking stable. Alright, I'm going to catch up on chat here a little bit. Is Snacks a Dolphins, Marlin, and Heat fan? Yes, I'm surprised you've never heard me talking about the Dolphins before. I have routinely said that Tua has performed a lot better than I thought he would. However, I was very disappointed that the Dolphins drafted a quarterback because I talked about this a lot. Taking a quarterback in the first round is not a good. Tua's done a lot better than I thought he would, but they're trying to kill him. And, you know, pinning the hopes of the franchise on one guy like that and then sending him out there to fucking die is just a
Throwing
horrible
up a
decision.
backtrack. It must be responsible for all this. Come
I
on,
don't really
let's take
watch
it down
baseball
together.
that much. I love playing baseball, but... Oh, you can't hear me?
Your audio's definitely getting picked up by the stream. Hold on. Let me check. Okay, Snack, say something. Let me check. Okay,
Something.
Snack, say something. Check. Okay.
Lee.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Sorry, Austin. Here I am trying to answer your question. You just can't hear me. Anything?
Might be
Yeah,
on
I
your
don't.
end.
I don't watch hockey. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. I don't watch hockey. If I did watch hockey, I would be a Panthers fan because I tried watching hockey before, and I did try watching Panthers games. It's not into hockey. I can't. It's too slow for me.
Stand wherever we look.
You know,
Where did he
it's
go?
Offense doesn't really come very quickly. It's just too back and forth. It reminds me too much of soccer. I don't like it.
Yeah,
No, and
the problem with hockey is you can never stop paying attention because like you can sit there for an hour, nothing happens, and then in 2 seconds somebody scored, and it's like, oh man, I looked down at my phone, I missed
exactly.
it.
Hockey is very comparable to soccer, the way that it's played, the way the rules are, and the flow of the game and everything. But I view hockey as being the inverse of basketball. And you got to remember that basketball is my favorite sport. So for me, it's hard. It's really tough. Baseball's easier to watch, but baseball honestly just makes me sad. And if you knew more about me and my personal life, that might make more sense. But like, it's hard for me to watch baseball for very long without just feeling really sad. So yeah, I'm blessed too. I hope he doesn't die, but I just wish the Dolphins were trying to kill him. How are you, Miami sports fan? You never lived in Miami because my dad's from Florida. And
Also, it's
funnily
important
enough,
to
my dad's
remember
from my
that Snacks also kind of roots for some San Diego Kings because of his dad, to a
Right.
certain extent anyway.
yeah. And my dad's a San Diego sports fan, and he's from Florida. He moved here. I always envisioned myself moving to Florida, but with what happened to George Zimmerman, I just don't think I'd be able to live there.
No, you could be a Florida man. That's, what all
Exactly.
aspire to. Anyway, we got to take a short break. I'll be back in a few minutes, guys.
Wahoo.
Okay, we are back. Welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
I need to figure out what this enemy's weak to.
Everything.
Here we go.
Come on, Silver.
You remember
Go.
the lieutenant in Metal Gear Solid 3, Rydenikov? What was his name? Rydenikov?
Something like that.
It was like the meme. That was pretty fucking
What
funny.
about him?
No, I just remembered they actually put him in Metal Gear Solid 3 to piss people off because everyone hated Raiden.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, and he looked like Raiden, and he was like a homo and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, hey, hey.
That
Everyone was like, Raiden's gay.
pretty funny. I mean, no, I mean, just to be clear to everybody in the chat, he was literally gay, as in he liked men. Like, because as we all know, gay has multiple meanings that are valid.
Are you hitting the homosexual sound clip right now?
Yes.
Are you a homosexual?
Based.
Hey, Marsh, how you doing?
Can I get some fucking sulfur? Holy shit. It's the last thing I need.
Marshall, I think I have 11 wins right now, but I'll have more information in a few months.
Are you projecting the Seahawks to have 11 wins next year? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I project them to have 11 wins.
In my pants.
And then 11 more.
Marsh, I think
Wait,
it was like
what's-
7 wins last year.
What's the total amount of games that can possibly be played in an NFL season?
I guess if you won every game, well, it would be 21, right? Because if you don't get the first round bye and then you go to the Super Bowl, you play 21.
But if you don't get the first round bye, then that has to mean that you lost the game.
Oh, you're saying if you won every game, then it would just be 20.
Yes. Okay, so the Seahawks will win 20 games next season. That's my official prediction. Take it to the bank.
It's also, well, I guess 23 if you count preseason.
Oh, no one counts preseason. Come on, be serious. And you know, I'm trying to get a penile implant. I gotta enhance my package to make up the chicks these days.
How much those cost?
Quite a lot of money. That's more than breast implants do, because there isn't as much science advancements involved in that whole thing. It took me all fucking day to do this, but I finally got them. The
What?
swim charge fins. Yay. It's an upgrade for your fins, so that while you're swimming, you also charge batteries. And believe me, having to make batteries is such a huge pain in the ass, and it takes so long to find battery charging equipment for you to just charge batteries. That it is way fucking easier to just get the goddamn swim charge fins.
No, Marsh. Snacks' internet is nowhere near good enough to stream because Gavin Newsom throttles him on a daily basis.
Yes, I live in California, and I'm not a super gazillionaire that lives in LA, so there's no chance I would be able to do that. Hell yeah. Actually charging my batteries. Feels good, man.
We tried to play Fortnite together, and he literally couldn't even load into the map because his internet is so bad.
Yeah. That was brutal.
Yeah, not good.
Feels bad, man. Which is funny because we've played Dead by Daylight together for a number of years, and the only times I had internet problems were when everyone else was too. Like,
Yeah. Wonder if that says
What
something
the
about
hell?
Fortnite.
I think it does.
I mean, it is a pretty
Probably
cursed game.
loaded. Yeah, it's probably loaded with spyware or some shit. Bro, I can charge my flashlight while having my flashlight on. That is so cool. Yay!
Holy crap, I'm in Fortnite.
Basically. I think my favorite slang term from the newfangled slang that the kids are using these days is Riz.
This is pretty good. I really like it when they use it ironically. Like when somebody doesn't actually have Riz, but they say that he does.
Yeah. I also like when they do pickle Riz. I turned myself into a pickle Morty. I'm pickle Riz.
Turned himself into a pickle, Arthur.
It was the funniest thing I ever saw.
Scientist turns himself into a pickle.
Ah, now, Dutch, what kind of crazy nonsense is that now, huh? You don't understand, Arthur? We need money. And this scientist feller, he'll help us make money. By this time next year, we'll be in Tahiti. Have a plan, Arthur.
I do need to play that game again. It was really good, and I think I need to go through a second time.
This is more lead than I could ever imagine needing. Holy shit.
What's your opinion of bussin'?
Not a fan. Not a fan at all.
Feels like one that's
It is.
completely unnecessary because there are a billion words you could use instead of bussin' that work fine.
Yeah, it is not straight bussin' for real, on God.
Yeah, Austin, your statement's correct.
Snacks, can you confirm my statement? What was the statement?
It was main teams are Dolphins and Heat, Marlins and Panthers, you are a casual fan, or just Marlins.
Yeah, because, look, if the Marlins became the greatest team in Major League Baseball tomorrow, I probably would not watch many more baseball games anyway. For me, I watch baseball games when I'm at the gym, because I believe that baseball is the perfect game to watch when you're at the gym. Because you can bust out a set in the time it takes for a pitch to be selected, and then your set is done in time for the pitch. So you can watch the pitch and then see what happens. And then, like, usually when I'm between sets, I will walk around the gym to keep blood flowing. And during that time, I'll keep my eyes on the TV. And then just bust out another set. And like, the point is, it's the perfect sport to watch if you're doing something else at the same time.
Yeah.
Watching baseball, even the most hardcore baseball fans watch it casually because it is meant to be casually enjoyed. Baseball is a game you can watch with your family while having a picnic. Just every now and again, you turn your attention back to the game when something's actually going on. Now, football's very similar to that. However, the viewing experience is different because of the commercials. Because something happens once a minute, and then you have 50 seconds worth of commercials, and they come back, and the team's out of huddle, and then they play it down, which takes all of 3 seconds. Easy peasy. That is why I like basketball, is because basketball is non-stop something's happening. And it is also why many fans, including myself, actually hate people who take a lot of free throws like that's their whole game, is because that slows the game way the fuck down. And it is annoying to watch the camera just focus in on people's faces as they're pouring sweat, just like chilling, waiting for the fucking free throw. It's boring. Oh my god, I'm so fucking glad I have the charge fins now. This makes the game so much more comfortable. You have no idea.
Next, can you guys still purchase semi-automatic rifles down there? Because he's asking because it was recently made illegal in Washington State.
Oh, yes, we can. One thing that California has going for it as being pretty much the most gun-unfriendly state in the country is that a lot of the most retarded shit happens here, so it gets challenged almost instantly. However, you guys will have your day of having that nonsense get challenged, so don't fret too overly much. But to my knowledge, yes, it's still possible to purchase semi-auto rifles here.
Yeah.
They just have to be California retrofitted. There's like a bunch of different retarded stipulations that have to be added to a rifle in order to be California legal.
You have to paint the barrel pride colors.
Well, the easiest way to explain it is that like you need to use this insanely retarded looking grip. It just ruins the entire aesthetic of the rifle. Plus, it feels extremely uncomfortable to carry the fucking thing. Finally, where are you, little bugger? I've been waiting for you to fuck off for like 8 years so that I could grab this fucking thing. Jesus, thank you. Ugh. Go away. Where's my scanner? Right here. Bingo bango. Well, what the hell was I expected to scan? This thing? Oh no, the fish. Yeah, well, how the fuck am I ever gonna scan the fish, game? Seriously. Off we go. Infinite batteries. Feels good, man.
Let's see here.
Yay, laser cutter.
Yeah, Austin. Pretty much. sure, Right Guy. I'm sure it will be. Seems like it would be pretty trivial to challenge it. My favorite is, and I'm sure a lot of these are fake, but on Quora, the people who ask really, really dumb questions about gun control, and then they get really sarcastic answers. Like, I remember a while ago somebody asked on Quora, it was, would all gun owners be willing to agree to give up their guns for 1 year just to test to see if it improves, if it decreases the amount of gun violence in America? And then somebody was like, yeah, okay, sure, but now you have to agree to give up your right to vote for a year. Don't worry, we promise we'll give it back to you when it's over.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like... Lesson, as always, is it's usually a pretty bad idea to give up your rights.
Yeah, when in doubt, just remember that there's a very famous saying which goes, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And I've got to imagine that living in a country where guns are just completely illegal and it's almost impossible to get your hands on one if you're not a professional criminal, I got to imagine I would feel way less safe in that country. Professional bad guys still have guns. I don't know if he is. I mean, he might have some, and you know, if you're a proponent of the one-drop rule, that might be enough. But like, plenty of people in politics do. Like, I remember I was showing Joker once this article talking about AOC, sort of discussion about her own Jewish ancestry. That was fun.
I don't know if you saw this, but it was on Foxford's Twitter, the Foxford comic writer's Twitter.
Yeah.
The Pentagon leaker at the gun range. Did you see that clip?
I don't think so.
Okay, hold on. Let me find it.
It sounds based, though. Oh, fucking shit. All right.
Please make sure that your microphone doesn't pick up the audio from the video.
All right. This motherfucker's saying that and shooting an SKS. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. There's like a 99% chance this dude posts on K. Holy shit.
No wonder they went after him so hard.
Oh man. Straight facts, though. But anyway, holy shit, that's awesome. Bill Simmons is trending on Twitter. Awesome. Hello, base department. Yeah, take a seat, guys. You ain't gonna believe this one. That is fantastic.
I wonder how Christian Bale feels about how, like, 25 years later, he's become, like, this icon for the... For, like, I don't know what you would call them, like, Sigma males. I don't know. What is Patrick Bateman a mascot for? Sigma males? That kind of feels right to me somehow.
The base department. I mean, no. Yeah, those who would identify themselves as the so-called Sigma male. Sure. Yeah. I can buy that.
It really is a pretty remarkable performance that he gives.
Yes. Never eat the antennae. That's an interesting statement. This fish actually tastes like fish. That's a really strong statement about that. Shriveled and unpleasant. You love it.
Ixen Uranus.
Quiet.
What is /K? Which one is that one?
That's the 4chan weapons board.
Okay. Surprised they haven't shut that down yet.
Oh. That's why I said that the SKS is something of a very, very popular meme rifle on See, it's kind of that way with any mass-produced Soviet armament. The Mosin Nagant, aka the Moist Nugget, is that way on K, but across pretty much all of firearms enthusiasm boards all over the fucking place. And it's just because since there's so many of them, so many millions and millions of them were made, that once the world was no longer in such imminent danger of military conflict, they flooded the market for privately owned weapons. And they're cheap. Like, you pretty much... I don't know if it's still true, because it's been a long time, but you used to be able to get a Mosin Nagant at pretty much any Big 5 in the country. Heard. I am so glad that that's a thing. Oh man. Oh my god.
What, the mag dump clip?
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
I love it, and I am watching that one, but this one.
Okay. And you know, for a franchise that absolutely ruled the league It's kind of crazy. We're coming up on 40 years and only one Boston title. Austin, because he was at the Celtics game tonight, and there was a picture that got taken of him near the end of the game that was, it became a meme. Ray AP2 used to make the most weird-ass random topics, like, they made a topic like, who is the best dunker in the NBA when they use their offhand? Shit like that. And people would be like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's the stupidest thing ever, because anyone who is celebrated as being an amazing dunker uses their offhand. Like, you have to be a really bad NBA player to only be able to use your dominant hand. See, that's why Jeremy Lin, even though he was great during Linsanity, defenses started to key up on him, and he wasn't as effective. He was still good, but Linsanity never happened again because he couldn't do the same things with his left hand. So if you take away his right hand, he couldn't contribute. You can't do that to someone like LeBron or KD or Kobe or, you know, anyone who's an amazing scorer. But then if you're going to say they're an amazing dunker too, if you're athletic enough to dunk, dunking is actually really easy. Because the hardest part is to get the elevation. You know, if you're there at the rim, all you need to do is just throw the ball into the hoop. That's the easiest part of the dunk. The hardest part is fucking jumping up there. Like, when people contest the dunk, it's because their body's in the way, and it's difficult to get to the fucking hoop. Doesn't have anything to do with your fucking dexterity. What the hell? Anyway, one of my favorite Ray moments was he came up with he wanted to name LeBron's famous Game 6 2012 Eastern Conference Finals performance the Devil Trigger LeBron game because he was ripping off of Devil May Cry, where Dante goes into his demon form. It was called the Devil Trigger.
Right.
When you activate that form. So everyone made fun of him for saying that to the point where it eventually got called the Deviled Egg LeBron game.
That's pretty good.
And that's how I choose to remember it. The Deviled Egg game. And people think I'm retarded when I say that shit, because then I just start giggling, and no one knows why, because they don't have autism. Bill Simmons saying he sports hates the Heat and he just wants them to go away. I'm like, you know what? I actually hate you. Because he gets to be rich and quasi-famous for spewing the most retarded shit. And here I am, and I'm right, and I don't get to be rich and quasi-famous for this. Ugh. Jerk.
Let me look something up here.
Also, he's an ass face.
Bill Simmons' net worth is $19 million. And there's one site that says it's $100 million. That's a pretty big difference. Somebody should probably figure this out. Wow, okay, this one says 70. This one says 82. This one says 10 million.
That makes me really sad, because my net worth, according to my bank account right now, is $54. And... Fuck! Like... Oh, God.
Sometimes somebody actually wrote, like, a Mad Lib-styled generator that would, like... No, it was like a Mad Lib-style game that would basically generate a Bill Simmons article from the early 2000s. It was just, like, constantly be talking about Roger Clemens being the Antichrist and stuff about how the Red Sox are cursed, and that... It was pretty funny. I don't mind Bill Simmons so much, but like he doesn't know anything about sports really. Like whenever he has somebody who actually knows basketball on his podcast, like Zach Lowe, like you can tell that the guy is treating him like a special needs child. He can't actually say you don't know what the hell you're talking about because he's his boss. But it's always kind of like, yeah, sure, let's go with that. Somebody who's actually like a student of the game. It's pretty funny.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't respond to that, but I'm trying to decipher this tweet that I'm looking at. I don't understand it. I'm gonna send you the tweet right now.
Maybe I'll help.
Oh, oops. That's not our chat.
Uh-oh. Are you gonna get in trouble?
No. I just deleted the message. I accidentally posted it in the basketball channel. So, there you go, there's a DM.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, what I'm trying to decipher is he says they can't give it out for free. And I'm sitting here like, where is it saying that it's free?
Well, apparently they're doing like promotions where they're literally giving away Bud Light and people still aren't buying it. If you look around the story, I know you can find some evidence of them actually doing like promotions and stuff where they're trying to give it away. Let me see if I can find it here real quick.
It's hard to believe.
Let's see here. Oh, here we go. God damn it, why is the fucking URL so long? Just give me the... Okay, there we go. There we go.
Here we go. I see the fucking thing. It might have just been what you found just now. Okay, that's a different thing. But I found this here. It says, easy to enjoy Memorial Day weekend. Get $15 back via rebate on the purchase of one Budweiser, Bud Light, Budweiser Select, whatever, probably 12-pack, or Budweiser Select 24-pack. So the $15 back rebate means that you would get at least $15 back. So as long as it costs less than that, you'd be getting it for free. And if it costs enough less than that, you'd be getting it for free. Plus, they'd actually be paying you to take it.
Yeah, the tweet I sent you is slightly different, but it's the same basic idea.
Display scene in 2 different stores in Wisconsin. State known for drinking a lot of beer. Yeah, especially because lots of different beers are actually brewed in Wisconsin. The breweries where they brew Miller are still in Wisconsin. Everyone working there now is Chinese, sadly, because that's who owns everything. Just kidding. But Milwaukee Tools, literally, the brand is named Milwaukee.
Right.
It's one of the most famous and respected brands in power tools. And it's named Milwaukee because it was founded in Milwaukee, and the fucking plant is in Milwaukee. It got bought by a Chinese company, so now even though the plant is still here, it's made out of global parts, which means that quote-unquote American labor is making it with Chinese materials. And when you actually look at the factory, like everyone running the factory is Chinese. And they actually do managerial training sessions all in Chinese, where they're explaining to people about how lazy Americans are and how to get them to actually do their jobs.
Checks out. I buy it.
Right?
Anyway, but you see, yeah,
$14 price with the QR code is minus $15. So yeah, free. Free Bud Family 20-pack bottle with code. Monocausar. Yeah, it's actually free.
my
The same
understanding is that
thing's
it's crap beer, even by crap beer standards, though. So I'm not
yeah,
shocked.
it's not good quality beer, and everyone understands that. However, it was like it was the most popular beer in America. Because people don't drink beer because they enjoy the taste. They drink beer because they want to have beer. The point is to drink it and to feel the buzz.
Yeah.
So when any other alcohol does the exact same thing, you know, it's not exactly a difficult market to find something else that you'd prefer instead. I wonder how Dylan Mulvaney feels about this, and the reason I say that is because, on the one hand, if they were a person that had anything resembling shame, they could sit here and say, wow, I caused a great deal of damage just because people hate me that much. I can't believe this. However, I could also totally believe it because of people who have the brainworms thing, would totally fucking believe this shit, which would be a sick sense of pride in the fact that they essentially brought billions of dollars of damage to this company just by associating with them.
Aced, as they might say.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, JS, I agree. We were talking about that earlier. Caleb Martin should have been MVP of the series, but at least Butler played good in Game 7. I can say that. But Caleb Martin
No,
was
no, no,
awesome.
no, 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 no. It's Caleb Martin is great, and Caleb Martin did do great this series. But in those first 3 games, Jimmy played like playoff Jesus. If we won in 4, even with Jimmy having a complete... Hell, let's just say we won in Game 6. Let's say we won behind Jimmy's 3 straight clutch free throws with seconds left on the clock. That'd be MVP right there. Like, yes, Caleb Martin had a great game to close out. Blessed man. I love him. Thank God for Caleb Martin. But this is a 7-game series, and Jimmy's first 3 games were fucking amazing. Not only that, but the award is kind of, it shouldn't be, but it's kind of like, here's an award for how well you've done in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, kinda. That is true.
And Jimmy against the Bucks and Jimmy against the Knicks was fucking basketball Jesus, dude. Holy shit.
And I think everyone understands he's playing through injuries right now. He's got stuff going on, and, like, he's gutting it out. And I think they're giving him some gravitas for that. Alright, I'm gonna get back to this temple.
Oh? So,
Oh, okay. I was wondering where she went.
Yuengling if they sold it where I live, but they don't. Because I live in Southern California, like, for those of you who don't know, a shitload of craft beers throughout the entire country are actually brewed in San Diego and the San Diego area. Considering I live here, holy fucking shit. You can't go 5 fucking feet in a beer section without hitting a fucking craft beer that was brewed like a couple of miles away. It's insane.
Are they all disgusting?
They pretty much all taste like the same shit, yeah, because, like, when it's extra hoppy, it just tastes way, way, way more bitter. Like, I tried an IPA that was sold to me, but as it's like a beer that tastes like an orange creamsicle. And I was like, hell, I'll give that a shot. I did taste the orange. It tasted like I was drinking a bottle of Lysol. Holy fuck, it was bad. I hate IPAs. I hate craft beers. They're dog shit. So, I mean, that's just me. I'm the guy who likes malt liquor, so whatever. But yeah, that and Mexican beers. Like, I have seen every conceivable flavor of Modelo that you can think of. Spicy pineapple, lime and salt, spicy watermelon. Mango chili. Chamoy, which is like lime, tomatoes, and salt. I think that's all of them.
Try Guy wants to know if you live near the border, because that would explain why you see so much Modelo.
When you live in Southern California, you do live near the border. And what I mean by that is LA is like 150 miles from the border, but it's basically the border. I live in the San Diego area, like I said that before, and the San Diego area is considered San Diego County. San Diego County includes literally the fence, or should I say, the wall, all the way up to like 70 miles away. So I'm within 100 miles of the border, but I'm basically on the border. Like, fuck me, dude. Throughout the day, the amount of people I encounter who speak fluent English is really small. Well, it depends on the part of LA. Like, it's... This is going to start me on a rant, because LA is basically a cancer, and it just keeps growing and spreading and metastasizing all over fucking Southern California. So, what do you mean by LA? Because it just keeps fucking growing.
Have you come up with a final solution yet for the LA problem?
Basically. Yeah, Long Beach A lot of people consider that to be LA, because that's what I'm talking about. However, strictly speaking, Long Beach is Orange County. Which is not just not LA, it's literally not even the same county. But it's basically LA. But it's a hell of a lot closer to the border than what people would consider to be LA. Which is the actual city of Los Angeles, where you can see the fucking gay-ass Hollywood sign in the hills. And where you can see Crypto.com Arena. I can't believe they renamed Staples Center. I have so many memories of driving on the freeway in LA at night and seeing that big red Staples Center lit up. Oh my god. That is so heartbreaking that it's gone. You watched all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right?
The first 3. And I don't
That's
care.
what I meant, because I didn't know that there were more than those 3.
There are
But
5.
anyway,
There are 5, yeah.
Wow. Wow, okay, well that's sad. But anyway, so what I was gonna say is I remember in the third one when Barbosa is talking to Jack and Barbosa says the world used to be a bigger place. And Jack says the world's the same as it always was, there's just less in it. That's the way I feel. I'm all like, the world's the same place. There's just less in it now,
These flames make it impossible to go further.
A smooth move right there. Also, that's a nail 1, baby. That was a foul, young lady.
It must have been very embarrassing for Shaq. That's probably the first time that's happened to him since he was in high school. So I can understand why he would react like that.
Hey, the flames have gone out. Now we can move ahead. What? Fireballs
Oh,
now.
shit!
Looks like we're stuck again.
I was watching this video the other day about John Stockton, and it was great. Because, Baron Davis was in it, and he was talking about John Stockton, and he said, that was my welcome to the NBA moment. In his first game, he got ripped twice by John Stockton and benched. Oh man, that's pretty great right there.
Yep, Baron Davis, one of the worst three-point shooters ever, made the longest shot in NBA history. Ever think about
That's right. Well, to be fair, Kobe once made a shot from the moon, so I don't...
How many points was it worth?
4, because he was fouled.
The fireball stopped. I'm on my way, Link.
No Angles? Joe Angles? What the hell? What's he talking about?
Bill Ingles was good for a little while there. I like that one time last year, 2 years ago, watching Jazz Game, Steven got so mad he actually went in on Yoshi. He, like, got so mad he, like, Yoshi caught friendly fire.
Yeah, that was good shit.
Like, Steven straight up accused him of making up his girlfriend.
Yeah, I remember that. That was amazing. And I fucking egged him on there because I was like, yeah, there's no way Yoshi's straight. That's a dude. Oh, man.
I mean, Yoshi may be straight, but he definitely doesn't have a girlfriend when he's on Discord 24/7 like that. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, Yoshi's deeply in the closet, boy. Paul Pierce is trending? What the fuck? Why?
He was at the Celtics game and was very disappointed.
Oh.
Okay. I guess.
Paul Pierce has lost every game 7 he either showed up to or played in for the last 7 years.
My favorite was they were showing like the final game ever played by a bunch of superstars. Like their stat lines they put on the screen, like Kobe, who scored 60 points in his final game. Dirk, I think, scored like 25 points and had 10 rebounds. Dwayne Wade scored like 20 points and had 10 rebounds and 5 assists or something like that. They all had good games. And then Paul Pierce, like 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. That was my favorite.
I mean, Paul Pierce is without a doubt a star from the last generation, but man, he is easily like one of the weakest in every possible way. It's kind of nuts to think that he has a Finals MVP, and that if it hadn't have been for last season, Steph Curry wouldn't.
Can you keep going?
Yeah, he's like a couple of tiers below guys like Dirk and guys like Wade. Like, it's not even close.
Oh man, this is pretty good. Heat fans on Twitter clowning on Boston, saying "fuck Ben Affleck." Wasn't even at the game or nothing, just like "fuck Ben Affleck." Oh, man, that's pretty good.
You Gumby?
Exactly. Paul Pierce with another front row seat to an ass whooping.
Alright. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for tonight. I've already gone like an hour longer than I intended to, so I'm going to go ahead and save and get out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. See you guys in the morning.